Family Immortal Cultivation. Starting as a spiritual farmer, this video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1026, The Awakening of the Older Generation. He was very grateful that the family could give his youngest son Ling Chenghao a chance to stay away from the future disputes in the northern wilderness Immortal Cultivation world and live a quiet life in the boundless sea Immortal Cultivation world. If his eldest son Ling Chengcheng also went to the boundless sea Immortal Cultivation world, it would be a bit outrageous. I am afraid that the clan members would gossip about him behind his back. Therefore, he must leave a child behind. It is not appropriate to leave the weak younger son behind. If the northern wilderness Immortal Cultivation world is really in chaos, the younger son will be in danger and will die in 9 out of 10 cases. On the contrary, if the stronger eldest son Ling Chengcheng is left behind, Ling Chengcheng may have more chances to survive. The family did not say much about this, so they agreed to Ling Pengcheng's decision. Of course, Ling Pengcheng also asked his eldest son Ling Chengcheng about this decision, and only agreed with Ling Chengcheng's consent. His eldest son Ling Chengcheng understood that chaos is both a danger and an opportunity. Once he can escape the chaos and establish merit, he will certainly be supported by the family. This is an indisputable fact. Especially since he is the direct descendant of the family and his father is the elder generation of the family, as long as he can gain merit, the chances of being supported in the future will be greater. This is also the reason why Ling Chengcheng is willing to take the risk to stay in the family. Afterwards, Ling Pengyun asked Ling Chenghao to lead the way to the area belonging to the family in the east of the Yinzhu secret realm, and went to the secret realm manager Ling Pengyun to learn about the situation here. According to Ling Pengyun, the more than 250 spiritual veins belonging to the family in the east of the secret realm can produce a batch of spiritual medicines worth 5,000 spiritual stones every year. And these spiritual medicines will be refined into various spiritual objects by a group of Ling's 100 arts in the secret realm. Every 10 years, Ling Chengsha, a giant and cultivator who cultivates in the third-level spiritual veins of the Jin family branch in the Boundless Sea, will come here to take those spiritual objects and sell them through the Jin family branch. The profits earned are used to supply the cultivation of the Ling family cultivators in the secret realm. However, since there are only more than 500 Ling family cultivators in the secret realm, there will be a few thousand spiritual stones left over from this batch of resources every 10 years. Ling Pengyun, the manager of this place, discussed with Ling Chengsha to use this spiritual stone to upgrade a second-level upper-grade spiritual vein under the Jin family branch to cultivate a third-level spiritual vein. With the accumulation of tens of thousands of spiritual stones, that spiritual vein was also upgraded to the quasi-third-level realm. As for not upgrading the spiritual veins in the secret realm, there are reasons. Among the 250 spiritual veins belonging to the Ling family in this secret realm, the highest grade is only the lower and middle grades of the second grade. In addition, this secret realm is a small secret realm. The laws of heaven and earth are incomplete and cannot support the spirit veins to enter the third level and trigger the third level of thunder. Without the tempering of thunder, it is impossible to get the feedback of the laws of heaven and earth and enter the third level. Under this situation, Ling Pengyun and Ling Chengsha plan to cultivate the third-level spirit veins in the outside world, and then migrate to the secret realm after the cultivation is successful. This small secret realm allows the existence of third-level spirit veins, but it cannot condense thunder to allow the spirit veins to be promoted in the secret realm. As for the more than 250 demon veins cultivated by the Ling family in this secret realm, they are now filled with many demon corpses. A few of them were brought by Ling Pengyun and others from the family, and most of them were brought into the secret realm by Ling Chengsha, a giant and cultivator, who killed the monsters in the Boundless Sea area and brought the corpses into the secret realm, and let the dozen family corpse refiners in the secret realm refine them. And those demon corpses are slowly improving with the help of those demon veins. In a few ghost veins, many ghosts are also kept in captivity by Ling family cultivators. Most of these ghosts are used as nutrients, specifically to feed the mountain-moving evil ghosts and the Ling family's magic weapon, the Ghost Control Banner. Of course, these demon veins and ghost veins are also planted with some demonic or ghost demons, and there are also spiritual plant masters who specialize in cultivating demonic and ghost spiritual plants to take care of them. When these demonic and ghost spiritual objects mature, They will also be refined into elixirs to cultivate those demon corpses and ghosts to improve their cultivation. It is particularly good that this secret realm can be self-sufficient. Thank you for your hard work, Brother Pengyun. After learning about these things, Ling Pengyun was also very happy, and he also praised Ling Pengyun who managed this place. The secret realm can be like this, mainly because of the management of the other clansmen in the secret realm. There are more than 250 spiritual veins in the secret realm, and more than 250 demon veins and ghost veins. But there are only more than 500 clansmen here. Basically, each person needs to manage a spiritual land. This is really hard work. Ling Pengyun did not dare to take credit. Brother Pengyun, you are still as considerate of the clan members as before. I'm leaving this place to you. Cheng Xia did nothing wrong. In the future, if Cheng Xia makes a decision, please help him. Ling Pengyun felt more satisfied after hearing this reply. Cheng Xia is now much more stable in his work. He has thought about all kinds of details very carefully. He is no worse than an old man like me. I'm afraid that in a few years, he will be able to take charge of his own affairs. Ling Pengyun said with a smile. If that's the case, it's good. I'm afraid you are just flattering me, Brother Pengyun. Ling Pengyun heard that Ling Changsha was more meticulous in his work, and his face was more happy. There is no father who doesn't want his children to have a promising future. He is no exception. However, the word old man that Ling Pengyun just said reminded Ling Pengyun of another thing. He glanced at Ling Pengyun and saw that his cultivation level was not much different from more than 40 years ago. He was still at the 9th level of foundation building. Looking at Ling Pengyun again, half of his hair was white and there were more wrinkles on his face. Ling Pengyun frowned slightly. Brother Pengyun, are you really not going to try to reach the golden core realm? Ling Pengyun was free and easy, saying with a smile. With my talent, even if I live, I'm afraid it will be difficult to cultivate the golden core realm spiritual consciousness and meridians through the 2 spiritual consciousness and meridians tempering techniques of the family. In this case, it's just a delusion for me to reach the golden core realm. I'm already satisfied to see Cheng Yuan enter the golden core realm. The family's eldest elder Ling Pengyun is his descendant. Hearing this, Ling Pengyun sighed helplessly. How could he not know Ling Pengyun's thoughts? Ling Pengyun simply felt that it was difficult to cultivate the golden core spiritual consciousness and meridians, and that he could only rely on the golden core spiritual objects to reach the golden core realm, with a slim success rate, and if he failed, it would be a waste of the golden core spiritual objects. The older generation basically had this mentality, and they didn't like to drag down the family and waste family resources. This was true for Ling Pengyun, and it was also true for Ling Pengcheng, who entered the golden core realm shortly after the monster rebellion. Seeing that Ling Pengyun had made up his mind, he did not want to persuade him anymore, so he changed the subject. After staying in the Yinzhu secret realm for a few more days, he left a sum of resources, and gave some advice to Ling Pengyun, a spiritual plant cultivator who had entered the quasi 3rd level more than 10 years ago, and dozens of other spiritual plant cultivators in the secret realm on how to cultivate spiritual plants. Only then did Ling Pengyun leave. Chapter 1027 Heading to the branch. Next, he went to the Shanhai Island Jin clan branch in the Muiyan Sea under the command of the Muiyan Immortal sect to visit his cousin Ling Pengyun who was stationed there, and his son Ling Changsha who was cultivating there. Because Ling Pengyun was in the realm of false elixir, it was difficult for him to improve his cultivation. However, he had not been idle over the years. He had comprehended many powerful magical powers and secret techniques, and his strength had improved a lot. Ling Changsha, who had condensed a superior golden elixir when he entered the golden elixir, had improved greatly. I don't know if it was because of the pressure he had, but in the more than 40 years since he came to the boundless sea to cultivate immortals, his cultivation had directly improved by 1 level, reaching the 3rd level of the golden elixir. It is also worth mentioning that Ling Chengshi, the son of Ling Pengyun, who had dual spiritual roots of gold and earth, had also improved his cultivation to the level of perfect foundation building after many years. In addition, his consciousness had also reached the golden elixir level and advanced through the family's Xiangang, forging god technique. At present, he is also practicing the Beiyang Quenchmei technique with all his strength, intending to cultivate the meridians of the golden elixir level to prepare for the impact of the golden elixir in the future. Ling Pengyun actually expected his progress. After all, Ling Chengshi was not young anymore, about 130 or 40 years old. Strictly speaking, he was actually of the same generation as Ling Chengxia and the family's spiritual plant genius Ling Wanchuan. It was just that Ling Chengxi was a little younger by a dozen or 20 years. However, Ling Pengyun still praised Ling Chengxi and gave him some pointers, hoping that he could cultivate the golden elixir meridians as soon as possible so that he could achieve the golden elixir. The Black Dragon Lake was about to appear. For clan members like Ling Chengxi who had the opportunity to achieve the golden elixir, the sooner they could achieve the golden elixir, the better. Of course, Ling Pengyun also gave some pointers to Ling Pengyun and Ling Chengxia. Ling Chengxia was particularly happy about Ling Pengyun's arrival. He had never returned to his family since he came to the Boundless Sea. He was also extremely worried about his family. He had always been afraid that the Black Dragon Lake, the holy land of the demon race in the northern wilderness Xiuxin realm, where his family lived, would appear. In recent years, he had also spent a lot of resources to inquire about the affairs of the northern wilderness Xiuxin realm. At this moment, after he learned from Ling Pengyun that the family was fine and that the Black Dragon Lake would not appear in the world for the time being, Ling Chengxia also felt relieved. At the same time, he also ignited a sense of impetus. In the past, he was indeed not sure of his ability to help the family at the critical moment. If the Black Dragon Lake could not appear in the world one day later, he could have one more day to practice. It is possible that he could delay until his cultivation reached a higher level. By that time, even if the Black Dragon Lake appeared in the world, he would be able to help the family escape from the crisis instead of hiding in this boundless sea cultivation world. Of course, if Ling Chengxia was not sure at that time, he would not return to the family. He also shouldered the responsibility of protecting the other branches of the family in the Boundless Sea. Once the family had an accident, he would be the future pillar of the family. Therefore, he was not living for himself now, but for the future of the family. As long as he was there, even if the family was gone, he could lead the family fire in the Boundless Sea cultivation world to glory again. After staying for a few more days, Ling Pengyun left them some resources and visited the master of the teleportation hall Jiamu Zhenren in Muiyuan Market, the largest market in the Muiyuan Sea. Over the years, Jiamu Zhenren, who was a physical cultivator, obtained a lot of resources with his shrewd temperament and good third-level alchemy skills. In addition, he was valued by the middle-level Yuanying Force Muiyuan Xianzong behind him because he raised the alchemy to the third-level middle-grade realm, and was given a lot of spiritual objects by this sect. His cultivation level was also raised to the late Jinden. After not seeing each other for many years, the relationship between the two did not feel strange, but there were endless things to say. After chatting for half a month, Ling Pengyun said goodbye to Jiamu Zhenren and went to the Fire Dragon Sect branch in the Mingxiu Sea under the Mingxiu Xianzong. The manager of this place is the family fire method Jinden Ling Pengyun. Over the years, Ling Pengyun's cultivation has also made a small improvement, reaching the peak of the 4th level of Jinden. According to Ling Pengyun's estimation, it would take less than 10 years of practice for him to break through. Ling Pengyun's fire dragon, which had entered the golden elixir for almost 100 years, was not on the Fire Dragon sect at present, but in the Kanglin's secret realm Bishu Island of the sect, practicing with Ling Pengyun's senior sister Wang Ying's wood dragon. According to Ling Chengxia, his fire dragon made rapid progress in cultivation with Wang Ying's wood dragon with the help of the secret method of double cultivation. At present, the fire dragon's cultivation was close to the peak of the 2nd level of the golden elixir. It is also worth mentioning that Ling Chengxia's fire dragon and Wang Ying's wood dragon gave birth to a child after many years of double cultivation, which was a fire-scaled python. Although this fire-scaled python did not have the blood of a dragon, its blood was pure and had great potential. At least it would have no problem entering the late stage of foundation building, and it could be said to have inherited the qualifications of both its parents. The fire-scaled python was also loved by its parents. Both Ling Chengxia's fire dragon and Wang Ying's wood dragon had passed on a drop of dragon blood to the fire-scaled python when it was born. The fire-scaled python also successfully transformed into a half-dragon body because of these 2 drops of golden elixir-level dragon blood. Its aptitude was greatly improved. It has only been more than 20 years since the birth of this dragon, but its cultivation has reached the state of perfect key training. It can immediately try to impact the foundation building. The speed of cultivation is extremely fast. The fire-scaled python is now in the hands of Ling Pengyun's junior brother Lin Luo, who has a talisman passing spiritual body, as a spiritual beast. This matter was requested by Lin Luo. Wang Ying, The half-master of the fire-scaled python, and Lin Luo were both disciples of the true Lord of Greenwater, and they had a very good relationship. Naturally, she agreed to this matter. And Ling Pengyun saw that Lin Luo was also half a family member. After all, Lin Luo's Taoist partner Ling Liqin was a female cultivator of the family, so he also did a favor and agreed to this matter. Afterwards, Ling Pengyun asked about the current situation of the Fire Dragon sect. According to Ling Pengyun, the Fire Dragon sect has not expanded since it retaliated against the enemy of the Fire Dragon sect, the giant enforced Jin-Yang sect decades ago. For this reason, the number of spiritual veins in the Fire Dragon sect remains at 2,000, and the only third-level spiritual vein is the one in the Fire Dragon Island, where the Fire Dragon sect is stationed. And this batch of spiritual veins can also produce a large number of spiritual plants every year. Apart from the things consumed by the Fire Dragon sect itself, this sect can also save about 20,000 to 30,000 spiritual stones every year. This sect is also on the right track, enough to be self-sufficient and cultivate giant monks. And Ling Pengyun is also thoughtful, and he will leave 10,000 spiritual stones every year, intending to give them to the family. After many years, this sect has saved more than 400,000 spiritual stones, which were also handed over to Ling Pengyun by Ling Pengyun. Ling Pengyun was very satisfied with this and put it away. After all, his family had spent a lot of resources to help the Fire Dragon sect in its early days. Now that the Fire Dragon sect branch was doing well, it was natural for them to give back to the Ling family. Chapter 1028 Secretly Happy. At the same time, because the Fire Dragon sect became wealthy, Ling Pengyun, as the sect master, recruited some more disciples, and the number of disciples of the Fire Dragon sect also expanded to nearly 10,000. Among these disciples, there are also 5 people with better qualifications. They are all double spiritual root cultivators, and they have the opportunity to enter the realm of perfect foundation building before their lifespan is exhausted. Now they have also entered the realm of foundation building, and the future is promising. If they are allowed to practice the family's Lingxiao continued fate technique that can increase the number of years to impact the realm, it is possible that they will have a chance to impact the golden elixir. In order to enhance the strength of the Fire Dragon sect, Ling Pengyun also took 3 of the 5 people who were found to have spiritual roots when they were young and accepted into the sect as his personal disciples and carefully cultivated them. He also instilled in them the idea of protecting the sect. He also let the Ling family female and male cultivators with good qualifications from the Fire Dragon sect branch contact them, and eventually they all became Taoist partners. Although Ling Pengyun's 3 personal disciples did not know the existence of the Ling family, they were also considered half of his own people. In addition, Ling Pengyun also arranged special restrictions in their sea of consciousness to control their life and death. These cultivators who entered the sect at a young age are good seedlings for the direct line. The other 2 good seedlings who have the opportunity to enter the foundation building perfection, because they are casual cultivators entering the sect, Ling Pengyun just gave them some more resources. Whether they can enter the golden elixir depends on themselves. Ling Pengyun is not stupid. He will not cultivate too much for such uncontrollable factors. When Ling Pengyun met Ling Pengyun this time, he also applied to Ling Pengyun to pass on the Lingxiao continuation of fate to the 3 disciples who are considered half of his own disciples when necessary in the future. Ling Pengyun naturally agreed to this. Ling Pengyun's approach to the 3 disciples can be said to be excellent. If the 3 can turn into golden elixirs in the future, the Ling family can completely let them be dispatched. And this is also the original intention of Ling Pengyun, to spend his efforts in his early years to let Ling Pengyun establish the Fire Dragon sect. The Jin family on the mountain and sea islands is more of a free-range place, as a place to collect resources and sell resources. After all, the Jin family is a family power, and most of its members are from the Jin family. Once someone from the Jin family enters the golden elixir stage, it will be more or less difficult to control. On the contrary, the disciples of the Fire Dragon sect are all of ordinary origin and are easier to control. After guiding Ling Pengyun in his cultivation and leaving him a batch of cultivation resources as usual, Ling Pengyun left this place. A few months later. In the boundless sea, in the endless void, in the Qinglan secret realm. As soon as Ling Pengyun entered the Bishu island, where his master, the Bishu's Henjin, cultivated his way, he saw his junior brother Lin Luo, who is in the Tongfu spirit body, and Ling Wandero's daughter Ling Liqin, playing the piano and writing poems under an old tree on the island, which was very elegant. Seeing this scene, he couldn't help but raise a look of satisfaction on his face. At least from now on, the relationship between the two couples is very good. After all, no matter what, the marriage between Lin Luo and Ling Liqin, the most beautiful female cultivator of the Ling family, was secretly arranged by him. If there is a problem with the relationship between these two people, Ling Pengyun will not feel at ease. Then, he said with a smile, "I haven't seen you for many years. Junior brother and Liqin, you two are getting better and better at enjoying life." As soon as this voice came out, Lin Luo and Ling Liqin discovered the arrival of Ling Pengyun. After all, their cultivation was only at the foundation building stage, and Ling Pengyun's aura was not revealed to the outside world, so it was naturally difficult for them to detect Ling Pengyun's trace. "Senior brother, I finally waited for you to come. I haven't seen you for many years. Senior brother, your cultivation is getting more and more profound. Don't make fun of me. My wife and I have also encountered a bottleneck, so we plan to relax together." Lin Luo, who has a Tongfu spirit body, already likes his senior brother Ling Pengyun. When he was a child, most of the snacks were given by Ling Pengyun and Yan Siyi and his wife. Therefore, when he saw Ling Pengyun coming, he looked very happy and said happily. Immediately, he stood up and greeted him. After many years, his cultivation has also entered the 9th level of foundation building. His progress is extremely fast. You should know that he is only 70 or 80 years old, and he has 4 spiritual roots. Obviously, Kanglin Bahe sect has spent a lot of resources on him in recent years. Liqin greets the great-grandfather. Ling Liqin, a beautiful female cultivator from the family who looks like a fairy, also put down the bamboo zither in her hand at this moment and stood up. She was a little shy on her face, very respectful, and a little restrained as she bowed to Ling Pengyun. Her current cultivation has also entered the late stage of foundation building, and her progress is not bad. After all, 50 or 60 years ago, when she married Ling Luo, her cultivation had just entered the foundation building stage. Now she has reached 1 level in 10 years, which is not bad. It is rare for a general foundation building cultivator to break through 1 level in 20 or 30 years. Then, the 3 of them started chatting enthusiastically. According to this chat, Ling Pengyun also learned an amazing news. That is, Lin Luo, who has a talisman-making body and a talisman-making master who is at the 9th level of foundation building like Ling Lihao, a natural spiritual root in the family, has become a 3rd-level talisman-making master several years ago. It is enough to stabilize the probability of about 30% and draw 3 3rd-level spiritual talismans. If it continues at this pace, I am afraid that when junior brother Lin Luo enters the perfection of foundation building, his attainments in the art of talismans will have to improve a little bit. By that time, junior brother's attainments will be comparable to those of an old-fashioned 3rd-level lower-grade talisman-making master. Ling Pengyun's scalp tingled when he thought about it. At this time, he truly understood how powerful a talisman-making body, a middle-level spiritual body of the talisman-making class, is. Then, he also learned from Lin Luo and his wife about the current situation of their son Ling Renai. Recently, Ling Renai, who inherited Lin Luo's talent in talisman making and is also considered one of the talisman geniuses in the family, has also broken through to the peak of the early stage of foundation building, and his attainments in the art of talismans have also entered the 2nd-level middle-grade realm in advance under the guidance of his father, Lin Luo, the master of the art of talismans. Their son Ling Renai originally practiced in the family. Because Lin Luo's Taoist partner Ling Liqin was Ling Wanduo's only daughter, their son Ling Renai was also placed by the couple with the lonely old man Ling Wanduo. Therefore, Ling Renai is also a member of the family. But more than 10 or 20 years ago, when Lin Luo and his wife returned home to visit their relatives and gave Ling Liqin's father Ling Wanduo a golden elixir spiritual object to help him break through the golden elixir, they saw that their son Ling Renai encountered a bottleneck in the way of talismans, so they brought him to this secret realm. The most important thing is that Ling Renai did not come out to meet Ling Pengyun this time because he was in seclusion to break through the middle stage of foundation building. This also made Ling Pengyun very happy. Although Lin Luo did this because he loved Ling Renai, the only son, it also benefited the Ling family. After all, Ling Renai is a member of the Ling family. Ling Pengyun has already anticipated the future, when Lin Luo will help the Ling family create a 3rd-level talisman maker. This also made Ling Pengyun secretly happy. However, when Lin Luo talked about Ling Renai, who was his son but a member of the Ling family, he felt a little bitter. Chapter 1029, Method to replenish spiritual roots. As for his son Ling Renai, he had no objection to following his father-in-law Ling Wandao in the Ling family. The real reason for his bitterness was that he could not give birth. Over the years, he also wanted to have another child with Ling Lican so that he could inherit his own lineage in the sect. It was just a pity that the two of them had never given birth. According to their guess, it was probably because their cultivation had increased and it was difficult to give birth. However, there was also an advantage of having children with high cultivation, that is, the probability of the child having spiritual roots would be very high. For example, Ling Chengxin, the second child born to Ling Pengyun and Yan Sidai, was able to have spiritual roots. It was very likely because Ling Pengyun and Yan Sidai had reached the Jindan realm. However, this matter was a private matter, and Lin Luo did not dare to speak it out casually. Then, everyone chatted about some other things. According to them, senior sister Wang Ying was still on the Bishu Island, but she was in retreat recently as she was striving for the middle stage of the Jindan. Her wooden dragon and Ling Pengyun's fire dragon were practicing at the bottom of the Bishu lake. The Bishu's engine that Ling Pengyun wanted to find was no longer on Bishu Island, a third-grade spiritual island. Instead, he went to Qingshi Mountain, which has a fourth-grade spiritual vein, to practice more than 10 years ago in the depths of Qinglin's secret realm. Qinglin's engine, the leader of Qinglin Bahe sect, was also practicing there. After all, both of them had reached the nascent soul stage, and only the spiritual energy produced by the fourth-grade spiritual vein was enough for such a strong man to practice. After chatting for a few more words, Ling Pengyun, who had something important on his mind, temporarily bid farewell to Lin Luo and Ling Lican, and went to Qingshi Mountain in the depths of the secret realm to find Qinglin's engine. Qinglin's engine was just a normal practice and could come out of retreat at any time. He liked Ling Pengyun, a disciple with good potential, and he had not seen Ling Pengyun for many years. Therefore, as soon as he learned that Ling Pengyun was looking for him, he came out of retreat immediately. The two parties also met in the cave of Bishu's engine. As Ling Pengyun expected, the five-element golden pill in his abdomen was not discovered by True Lord Bishu. This also made Ling Pengyun sigh secretly, the magic of the Yin-Yang Taichu Sutra in his sea of consciousness. I don't know if it is because the Yin-Yang Taichu Sutra has absorbed enough moonlight and the power of the nascent sun, the effect of the Yin-Yang Taichu Sutra in concealing the breath is getting stronger and stronger. As long as Ling Pengyun does not automatically reveal his breath, even the old-fashioned pseudo-infant realm Longyang Jiao Wang in the family will find it difficult to see through his cultivation and the condition of his body. At this moment, in the hall of the cave, Ling Pengyun first chatted with his master True Lord Bishu for a few words, and then told him all the purpose of this visit. Things to replenish spiritual roots? This is a rare thing. However, Pengyun, when you impact the nascent soul in the future, do you plan to try to condense the five elements nascent soul? No, don't you have 5 spiritual roots? Why do you want things to replenish spiritual roots? When True Lord Bishu heard this, his eyes were shocked, and he misunderstood Ling Pengyun's meaning, so he asked with doubts. I'm planning to find it for Sidai. Sidai will soon be able to enter the late Jindan stage and will soon be able to impact the Jindan stage. I want to make up for her spiritual roots and see if she has the opportunity to condense the 5 elements Yuanying when she impacts the Yuanying stage in the future. Ling Pengyun would not tell others that the Yin-Yang Taichu essence can improve the quality of the Jindan, so he just followed the guess of True Lord Bishu. Is Sidai almost in the late Jindan stage? Her cultivation speed is not slow, and she should indeed prepare to impact the Yuanying stage. However, it is extremely difficult to replenish spiritual roots. Even if you do, you may not be able to condense the 5 elements Yuanying when you impact the Yuanying stage in the future. This is harder than ascending to heaven. Even the sect master has not condensed a Yuanying of that strength. True Lord Bishu advised. I understand, Master. If Sidai is not sure about the spiritual root supplement or special method, Sidai will not practice. But I still have countless clansmen behind me. If there is a spiritual root supplement or special method, I can give it to the clansmen with better talents to help them condense the 5 elements golden pill. Master, do you know where to find such spiritual objects? It would be best if there is news about the method to supplement spiritual roots. Ling Pengyun said. The method to supplement spiritual roots can be reused, unlike the spiritual objects that supplement spiritual roots, which are just consumables. Seeing Ling Pengyun's words, Bishu's engine probably understood. According to his guess, The biggest purpose of Ling Pengyun's search for spiritual root supplement is to help the talented clansman supplement the spiritual roots and condense the 5 elements golden pill in the future. After all, once the 5 elements golden pill is condensed, the probability of impacting the nascent soul can be increased by 10%, and the probability of success is not low. Since you have made up your mind, I will not say more. However, things that can make up for spiritual roots are relatively rare. Although I know where such spiritual things are, they cannot be exchanged for ordinary things. At least they require things of the nascent soul stage, so it is useless to tell you. As for the method to make up for spiritual roots, the sect does have one, which was found by the sect 10,000 years ago. But that method is too precious and is a magical power. It is difficult for me to give it to you directly. I need to ask the opinion of the Kanglan sect master. After saying that, he cast a communication talisman. When Ling Pengyun saw this, his face suddenly lit up, and he hurriedly thanked him. Master, thank you for this matter. True Lord Bishu waved his hand and said, It doesn't matter. I just asked the sect master for you to see the sect master. As for whether the sect master can give you the magical power to make up for spiritual roots, it depends on you. Ling Pengyun heard this and frowned slightly. Not long after, the figure of True Lord Kanglan appeared in the cave of True Lord Bishu. Many years have passed, and Kanglan's henjin still looks middle-aged, and has not changed. His aura is still the same, just like an ordinary person. Ling Pengyun's expression suddenly froze. But fortunately, Kanglan's henjin and Bishu's henjin could not see through his situation. Otherwise, Kanglan's henjin and Bishu's henjin would not remain calm as they are now. Junior Ling Pengyun, meet the sect master. Ling Pengyun then bowed. Sect master. Bishu's henjin also bowed slightly at this moment. Senior brother Bishu. Kanglan's henjin nodded to Bishu's henjin first, and then looked at Ling Pengyun. Nephew Ling, I haven't seen you for a few years. I'll make it short. I can give you the magical power to make up for my spiritual roots. But what are you going to pay? Hearing this, Ling Pengyun raised his hand and took out a book with the words Fire Cloud Treasure Book from his storage bag and handed it over. Uncle Master, please take a look at this. True Lord Kanglan took it with curiosity, flipped through it, and murmured. Fire Cloud Treasure Book? This name is somewhat familiar. After thinking about it, his eyes lit up and he asked Ling Pengyun. Little friend Ling, could this technique be created by the only true Lord Huyan, whoever came from the Fire Cloud sect, the quasi-nascent soul sect in this Hongzhou cultivation world tens of thousands of years ago? Chapter 1030 Additional Requirement, 5 Elements Pure Yang Mysterious Thunder. Ling Pengyun was a little surprised to see that Master Kanglan had guessed the origin of this technique, but since Master Kanglan had guessed it, he had nothing to hide, so he nodded. That's right. This item was obtained by a casual cultivator in our northern wilderness cultivation world thousands of years ago, and later cultivated into gold and elixir, and was named Master Huyan. And the inheritance of Master Huyan after his death was obtained by a demon sect Yindu sect in Yan State, where our clan is located 100 or 200 years ago. This demon sect was destroyed by our clan, and the inheritance eventually fell into the hands of our clan. Master Kanglan smiled, but did not delve into it, just said with a smile. My friend, you are lucky to be able to find such an ancient item. Then, he continued to look through the Fire Cloud Treasure Book, muttering his evaluation. Tens of thousands of years ago, the true Lord Huyan, who came from the Huyan sect, which was originally only a giant in force, was indeed a man of extraordinary talent. If he had been given more life, I'm afraid this technique could have become more perfect. Maybe even this technique could have been deduced to the middle stage of the nascent soul by the true Lord Huyan. What a pity, Senior Huyan, the Huyan sect you came from was also a sect of little fortune. After producing Senior Huyan, a man of extraordinary talent, no one has ever produced a nascent soul. As a result, no one has been able to deduce and perfect this technique. Even if this technique comes with a top-level superior magical power, it can only be regarded as a top-level inferior magical power. Having said this, True Lord Kanglan closed the book in his hand and looked at Ling Pengyun. This technique is very valuable, and it has many advantages. As long as you spend time, this technique will surely enter the middle-level realm. This level of technique can also be of some use to our sect. However, this item alone cannot be exchanged for our sect's method of making up for spiritual roots. Ling Pengyun frowned slightly when he heard this. He gritted his teeth and planned to take the risk to take out the inheritance of the White Shadow sect. The inheritance of the White Shadow sect basically has traces to follow. Once taken out, true Lord Kanglin will definitely guess the origin of those inheritances. This is why, at the beginning, Ling Pengyun only took out the top-level lower-level Yuanying early-stage technique Fire Cloud Treasure Book. As for exchanging inheritance for magical powers, it was also a helpless move. Magical powers, no matter what quality, cannot be compared with spiritual stones. Generally, they are exchanged with high-level spiritual objects or inheritances of equal value. The extremely precious magical powers that make up for spiritual roots cannot be bought with spiritual stones. Furthermore, even if such magical powers can really be purchased with spirit stones, Ling Pengyun may not be able to afford them even if he sells the Ling family. However, before he took out the inheritance of the White Shadow sect, the voice of Master Kanglin came to his ears. But if you agree to my 3 conditions, I can give you the magical powers to make up for your spiritual roots. Ling Pengyun's eyes suddenly ignited with a touch of fire, and he spoke. Please be clear, Master. Master Kanglin said with a smile. Sooner or later, our sect will really go to war with the Holy Demon sect. First, if you can enter the nascent soul, help me kill a nascent soul of the Holy Demon sect. Second, if you can enter the nascent soul, you must continue to be a guest of our sect. If our sect is in danger, I don't ask you to fight for our sect, but I ask you to help our sect resist a nascent soul enemy at the critical moment. Third, if you can enter the nascent soul, help our sect take back the mountain gate occupied by the Holy Demon sect in the future. Ling Pengyun frowned when he heard this. These conditions are extremely difficult. Take the first one, which is to kill the nascent soul demon lord, for example. It is extremely difficult. You know, every nascent soul is not an ordinary person. Even if Ling Pengyun can really enter the nascent soul realm, he is not sure that he can kill the nascent soul demon lord from the Holy Demon sect. When true Lord Bishu was attacking the nascent soul, he saw the nascent soul demon lords of the Holy Demon sect taking action. They were all extraordinary and powerful. If Ling Pengyun was not sure about entering the nascent soul, these things would be easy to say and he could agree to them casually. But the problem is that since he has refined a yin-yang Taichu essence and condensed the 5 elements golden pill, he can increase his chance of entering the nascent soul realm by 20% with these 2 items alone. This success probability is not low. He also has the nascent soul spiritual objects in his hands and the method of cultivating the nascent soul consciousness. Under all these circumstances, Ling Pengyun is still sure to attack the nascent soul, so he dare not easily agree to true Lord Kanglin's conditions. Master, your 3 requests are a bit too high. Upon hearing this, Master Kanglin's expression slightly changed, revealing a look of as expected, and then he continued. I can send you the sect's 5-element pure yang divine thunder. Ling Pengyun's body trembled suddenly, and countless heat surged in his heart. The 5-element pure yang divine thunder is a combination of superior magical powers, composed of 5 kinds of medium-level pure yang mysterious thunder, Jiamu, Binghe, Wutu, Zhengjun, and Renshu. Once you get the 5-element pure yang divine thunder, you will definitely get the cultivation method of the other 5 kinds of medium-level pure yang mysterious thunder. This kind of benefit alone is enough to make Ling Pengyun excited. After Ling Pengyun got the Kishu and Renshu mysterious thunder from the Beiyang sect, he practiced. Over the years, he has also used these 2 mysterious thunder magical powers several times. No matter which mysterious thunder magical power it is, with Ling Pengyun's current 8th level cultivation of the golden elixir, it is enough to burst out the power of a pseudo-infant realm cultivator's full force attack. Moreover, according to the words recorded in the 2 mysterious thunder methods, he cultivated about the 5 elements pure yang divine thunder. The power of the 5 elements pure yang divine thunder should be several times that of the middle-level magical power. Once mastered, Ling Pengyun will definitely have the ability to kill the old pseudo-infant realm, and even be able to resist 1 or 2 attacks from those who have just entered the nascent soul. You know, even if his current consciousness and spiritual power are comparable to the pseudo-infant realm due to the 5 elements of the golden elixir and other factors, even if he adds the 3 prototypes of the spiritual treasures in his hands, his strength can only be comparable to that of the old pseudo-infant cultivators. If this method can be obtained, the probability of our race surviving when the Black Dragon Lake, the holy land of the demon race and the northern wilderness cultivation world, appears in the future, will be much greater. Under such circumstances, Ling Pengyun nodded and agreed without any hesitation. Okay, Master, I will accept all your requests. As long as I can enter the nascent soul stage, I will definitely do what I promised today. After saying that, Ling Pengyun also made a heavenly oath with his cultivation that he would do what he did today after entering the nascent soul stage. Seeing this, Master Kanglin smiled. He also seemed to have been prepared. He took out the magical power to make up for the foundation and the pure Yang 5 elements mysterious thunder from his storage bag, handed them to Ling Pengyun, and said with a smile, "Junior brother Ling, can you confirm whether it is true or not?" Ling Pengyun had already been impatient to look through the two classics. Now that Master Kanglin said it, he immediately looked through them. As he looked through them, the joy on his face became more and more. The method to make up for the spiritual roots is called Zuinigun root replenishing method. According to the records, this root replenishing method is also mastered by most forces in the cultivation world. It can be regarded as a common method. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1031, The Cunning Master Kanglin. However, its quality has reached the superior level, which is extremely extraordinary. The ways to make up for the foundation recorded in this method are also quite special. Not only do you need to be in a special place, but you also need to match it with special objects, plus special methods, 3 factors, before you can make up for it. For example, if you want to make up for the water spirit root, you need to be in a place with rich water vapor, add 4th level spiritual water as a guide, and then match it with a special method. Any 4th level spiritual water will do, as long as you enter the 4th level. As for the time to make up for a foundation, it can be as long as hundreds of years, as short as a dozen years or even several years, all depending on the cultivator's own understanding, the spiritual place where he is located, and the quality of the special spiritual objects that are matched. And the difficulty of comprehending this method is also relatively high. As for the 5-element pure Yang method, according to the records, it is indeed powerful, but because this magical power is a combination magical power, not only do you need to comprehend the other mysterious thunder magical powers that make up this magical power, you also need to comprehend the method of combining those mysterious thunder magical powers, which can be said to be extremely complicated. Even if Ling Pengyun absorbed a mouthful of the essence of the primordial yin and yang, and condensed the 5 elements golden pill, his comprehension was greatly enhanced, but he was not sure that he could comprehend this magical power in a short time. According to his expectation, it would take at least 30 years to comprehend this magical power. If an ordinary cultivator wanted to comprehend this magical power, it would probably take at least hundreds of years. This matter did make Ling Pengyun slightly surprised, but fortunately 30 years was not a long time, and he could accept it. After all, if you calculate the time, it was only 40 years since the last monster rebellion. If the Black Dragon Lake Dragon clan could be born a little later and did not break the rules of the monster rebellion, he would have enough time to comprehend the 5 elements pure Yang mysterious thunder. For this reason, Ling Pengyun couldn't help but raise a bit of joy on his face. I have to say this first. The books on these 2 magical powers are only for you, my nephew. For the rest of you who want to practice, you have to teach them in person and set up special restrictions to prevent them from being passed on. If these 2 inheritances are passed on, our sect will definitely take them back by force. Kanglin's Henjin said with a serious look between his eyebrows. Understood, uncle. Ling Pengyun nodded seriously. It's been a long time since I discussed the Dao with my nephew, brother Bishu. Why don't we discuss the Dao with my nephew together? Seeing this, Zhenjin Kanglin was relieved and said. Zhenjin Bishu's expression moved slightly, and he looked at Zhenjin Kanglin with more surprise. He had heard that Ling Pengyun and Yan Siyi came to Kanglin Bahesek to recast the Mandarin Duck Fire Cloud Pot as the prototype of the spiritual treasure decades ago, and Zhenjin Kanglin instructed them to practice. But at that time, Zhenjin Bishu just thought that Zhenjin Kanglin was in a good mood. After all, the power of Master Kanglin was so great that even his disciple with a spiritual body rarely gave him any guidance, and it was even more difficult for ordinary disciples to see him. Under such circumstances, it was extremely unusual for Master Kanglin to take the initiative to offer guidance to Ling Pengyun on his cultivation problems. Moreover, he had just taken the initiative to send Ling Pengyun the method of the 5 elements pure Yang mysterious thunder. However, Ling Pengyun was still beside him, So he didn't ask too much, so he nodded. That's what I meant. Ling Pengyun was particularly looking forward to hearing about the discussion of Taoism. He also closed the two magical classics in his hands and thanked Master Kanglin immediately. Thank you, uncle. No problem, it's just a matter of convenience. Master Kanglin waved his hand. Then, the three of them sat at a small table in the hall of Master Bishu's cave, drinking tea and discussing Taoism together. This discussion lasted for a full month before it was over. During this period, Kanglin's Henjin, the leader of Kanglin Baha'i sect, also gave Ling Pengyun some advice on how to practice the 5 elements pure yang mysterious thunder and the Zuanin root replenishment method. This incident also gave Ling Pengyun an unexpected surprise. With this guidance, at least the time he needs to practice the 5 elements pure yang mysterious thunder can be reduced by at least 20 years. In the future, it will only take 30 years for him to comprehend this technique. And some of the insights of the Kanglin root replenishment method were remembered by Ling Pengyun, and he planned to copy them down for Yan Xie in the future. And from this incident, he also learned a lot of secrets about replenishing spiritual roots. For example, not every cultivator is suitable for replenishing spiritual roots. For example, his son Lingxiao's 3 spiritual roots of fire, water and wood are not suitable for replenishing spiritual roots. Once replenished, the cultivation method practiced by Lingxiao will conflict, and he will have to disperse his power and cultivate from this path. This also made Ling Pengyun feel cold behind him. After all, he had planned to let Lingxiao replenish his spiritual roots before. However, Yan Xie had no such concerns. The technique she practiced was a normal fire-attributed technique. After replenishing her spiritual roots, it would not affect her practice. As for the other benefits gained from this enlightenment, there were also many. He was sure that he would raise his cultivation to the 9th level of the golden core before the next monster beast chaos came. For this reason, he also stood up and thanked Kanglin's Henjin and his master Bishu's Henjin. Master and uncle are worthy of being Tongshan strong men. Their understanding of the Tao is indeed profound. This time, I have benefited a lot from the teachings of the two. I will remember this favor in my heart. Seeing this, Kanglin's Henjin and Bishu's Henjin showed satisfaction on their faces. After a few polite words, the two called Ling Pengyun back. Ling Pengyun also withdrew and went to Bishu Island to have a small gathering with Ling Luo and Ling Liken. After all, he did not stay long when he went to Bishu Island before. At this time, on the top of Qingshi Mountain, in the hall of Bishu Cave Mansion, on the small table, Master, the 3 additional conditions you proposed to Pengyun before can only be fulfilled after he enters the nascent soul stage. Brother, do you really believe that Pengyun can enter the nascent soul stage? Master Bishu asked with a puzzled look on his face. I still cannot see through the causal person in junior brother Ling. This kind of situation may appear in those rare people who go against causality, and these people are all extraordinary. Junior brother Ling is young, but his cultivation has reached the 8th level of Jinden, and I see that the strength of his spiritual consciousness seems to have reached the strength of pseudo-infant, which is extremely extraordinary. And, if I am not mistaken, junior brother Ling should have practiced the 2 magical powers of Rinshu and Qishu Zuanli. The Ling family where junior brother Ling is located does not have such magical powers, and he did not take these 2 magical powers from the sect. Under such circumstances, it can only be said that the 2 magical powers were found by junior brother Ling himself, and this opportunity is not small. Magic powers of this quality are extraordinary. If they fall into the hands of weaker Yuanying forces, they are enough to serve as the sect guarding magical powers, not to mention 2 gates. It is possible that junior brother Ling will have the opportunity to enter Yuanying. At that time, we will make a lot of money. Even if we fail, we won't lose anything. It's nothing more than the common root replenishing method and the 5 from pure yang mysterious thunder magic. Kanglin's Henjin smiled and said. Bishu's Henjin took a breath of cold air when he heard it. Ling Pengyun was a person who went against cause and effect, and he knew it. However, he really didn't know that his disciple Ling Pengyun had practiced the 2 mysterious thunder magics of Rinshu and Qishu. Master doesn't understand the situation of his disciple. I am a bit incompetent as a master. Bishu's Henjin immediately raised a bitter smile on his face. Half a year later, Ling Pengyun returned to the family smoothly, and when he came back, he also brought back Ling Chenghao, who was guarding the mountain gate in the Yinzhu secret realm. Ling Pengcheng, who was practicing hard in seclusion, was particularly happy to see his second son Ling Chenghao return home after a long absence. He missed his son very much. For this, he also thanked Ling Pengyun. The father and son also had a small gathering for a month. Later, because Ling Pengyun was worried about the appearance of the Black Dragon Lake, he did not dare to keep his second son Ling Chenghao for long. Ling Pengyun also went on another trip and sent Ling Chenghao back to the Yinzhu secret realm. After finishing this matter, Ling Pengyun returned to the Ice and Snow Valley. Seeing that Yan Siai had not yet come out of retreat, he had a small gathering with his parents and others, and then he also entered the retreat, and began to perfect the foundation-building chapter of the Lingxiao 5 Elements Treasure Book and practice the superior magical power 5 Elements Pure Yang Mysterious Thunder that he had just obtained. At the same time, he absorbed the power of the moon and the early sun every day as usual, and condensed the yin and yang Taichu Qi. Time passed in a flash, and 4 springs and autumns passed in a blink of an eye. Chapter 1032 The Secret Technique of the 5 Elements Treasures and the Life Treasure. On this day, Yan Siai, who had been in seclusion for decades, finally came out. And the purpose of her seclusion this time was also achieved. She successfully broke through the realm and entered the late stage of the golden elixir. However, this was not entirely her own merit. Another 3 achievements were a 3rd level lower grade miasma breaking treasure pill, the creation purple cloud treasure pill. This treasure pill was made by Ling Yunhong, the family's 3rd level middle grade alchemist, using a 3rd level lower grade purple cloud grass planted in the 3rd level spiritual plant garden of the Ice and Snow Valley as the main material. The purple cloud flower was recently cultivated into a 3rd level lower grade by Ling Pengyun, a spiritual plant husband. Originally, this flower was only a 2nd level purple cloud flower, but this flower had no potential once it entered the 3rd level. It was really helpless that the Ling family refined it into pill, otherwise the Ling family would also prepare to cultivate it to the 3rd level middle grade or even the 3rd level upper grade to maximize the benefits. At present, there are still 5 purple cloud flowers in the spiritual plant garden, 2 1st level, 2 2nd level, and 1 3rd level medium quality. The 2 1st level purple cloud flowers are the spiritual seeds produced by the 2 2nd level plants. Therefore, in fact, the purple cloud flowers of the Ling family have not decreased, but won more than decades ago, and the grade is not much different. At present, the Ling family can be regarded as cultivating this group of purple cloud flowers. Perhaps after hundreds of years, the purple cloud flowers of the Ling family can reach more than 10 stably, and the Ling family can pick purple cloud flowers at will to make pills. At that time, it will be a blessing for the Ling family monks. In addition, the furnace of creation purple cloud pills refined by Ling Yunhong with a 3rd level low quality purple cloud flower actually produced a total of 3 creation purple cloud pills. In addition to the one that Yan Siai took, the other one was in Ling Yunhong's own hand. He planned to use it to impact the 6th level of the golden pill. He has been stuck in the 5th level of the golden pill for decades. The last piece of the creation purple cloud pill was brought to his son Ling Changsha by Ling Pengyun when he went to the boundless sea to help him reach the middle stage of the golden core in the future. At this moment, Ling Pengyun spent several months with his wife Yan Siai, whom he had not seen for decades, and then he talked about business. He then took out the Zuinun root replenishment method, handed it to Yan Siai beside him, and said, "Madam, this is a method to make up for the spiritual roots. You should make up for the other 2 spiritual roots you lack as soon as possible. When you succeed, I will give you a great opportunity." Yan Siai was a little surprised. According to her memory, the family did not have this righteous Zuinun root replenishment method. She also knew how rare the root replenishment method was. She was also a little curious and asked Ling Pengyun, "Husband, where did this method come from? As for the amazing opportunity, where did it come from?" Ling Pengyun did not hide it and told the story of the trip to Kanglan Bahe sect. As for the amazing opportunity, Ling Pengyun simply said that as long as Yan Siai had all 5 spiritual roots, there was a chance that he could help her refine the golden elixir in her body and turn it into a 5-element golden elixir. Yan Siai was shocked when she heard this. The matter of refining the golden elixir after birth only existed in legends. It was said that only those rare great supernatural powers or things in the state of transformation could have such an effect. Whether it was a great supernatural power or a thing in the state of transformation, it was not something that ordinary cultivators could touch. However, Yan Siai also thought of one thing because of this, and her face was even more surprised. "Husband, Could it be that this opportunity was transformed from the thing you mastered? Ling Pengyun smiled and said, "That's right, madam, don't talk too much about this matter. Just know it yourself." Yan Xiai took a breath of cold air when she heard it. She and Ling Pengyun had been together for more than 100 years. Ling Pengyun also told her about the Yin-Yang Taichu Sutra. She also knew that there was such a thing that could produce Yin-Yang Taichu Qi that could improve the qualifications of others, but she didn't know the name, and she had never seen the Yin-Yang Taichu Sutra. After all, for some reason, only Ling Pengyun could see the Yin-Yang Taichu Sutra. "I didn't expect that the treasure in your hands could produce such an opportunity. Husband, do you think this thing is a thing of transformation?" Yan Xiai's eyes flashed with intelligence, and she spoke curiously. "I'm afraid it's more than that. It may be from the upper world in the legend." Ling Pengyun's expression was slightly condensed. Thinking of the mystery of the Yin-Yang Taichu Sutra, he compared it with the family's ghost fairy lamp, a ghost treasure of transformation, but found that the effect of the ghost fairy lamp was completely incomparable to the Yin-Yang Taichu Sutra. He also guessed. Yan Xiai heard this, but she felt a little more worried. If it was a treasure of the god transformation level, the Ling family would have the stomach to digest it, but if it was a treasure from the upper realm in the legend, it was not something that the Ling family, a pseudo-infant realm force, could touch. It was said that there were many powerful people in the upper realm who were far beyond the god transformation level. For this reason, she was a little helpless inside. "If this is true, I'm afraid this treasure will not be something we can control," Ling Pengyun said with some confidence. "There is no need to worry too much about this matter. The treasure has a powerful concealing effect. I have had the treasure for many years. During this period, nothing has happened. I think it will be the same in the future. Madam, you can rest assured." Seeing Ling Pengyun's look, Yan Xiai felt a lot more at ease. At the same time, because Ling Pengyun told her about this, she also felt Ling Pengyun's extreme trust, and her heart couldn't help but warm. As a wife, if you don't get the trust of your husband, it will be over. For this reason, Yan Xiai was also very happy and got into Ling Pengyun's arms again. Time flies, 15 years have passed. After spending a total of 20 years, Ling Pengyun finally relied on the experience of the family's countless 5-element exercises and various multi-attribute exercises to perfect the foundation-building chapter of the Lingxiao 5-element treasure book to the top-notch quality. At the same time, he also used this foundation-building chapter as a source and created 3 top-level life definition techniques and 3 top-level superior life definition magic tools according to his own needs. Among them, the attack life definition technique is the 5-element Ming destroying ball. This ball was created by Ling Pengyun based on the life definition technique Yin-Yang Ming destroying ball recorded in the water and fire dual cultivation technique practiced by his son Ling Qingsha. However, this 5-element Ming destroying ball is also stronger than the previous generation. This ball is several times stronger than the Yin-Yang Ming destroying ball. Once activated, the 5 attribute spiritual powers contained in it will also stimulate each other, erupting with a monstrous explosive power. The other 2 life magics are the 5-element spiritual cover, which can both defend and trap the enemy, and the illusion 5-element spiritual mist. This 5-element spiritual mist contains hallucinations and has the effect of restraining breath. It was created by Ling Pengyun based on the life magic weapon with illusion effect of his friend, Mrs. Bishan, who he met in this Hongzhou world. The 3 top-notch life magic tools are the attack magic tool 5 elements treasure water, the magic tool 5 elements Hunun bell, which can both defend and trap the enemy, and the illusion magic tool 5 elements illusion mist bottle. Chapter 1033, 5 elements treasures and various life treasures. The 5 elements 100 treasures water is a mimicry spiritual treasure, created by Ling Pengyun based on the prototype of the spiritual treasure 1000 flowing water of the dragon abyss Jiao King, and its power is particularly good. And this 5 elements 100 treasures water is the same as ordinary mimicry magic tools, which can attack, defend, and trap, and is an all-round magic tool. The only drawback may be that the materials required to refine this treasure are too many, and it requires hundreds of spiritual objects of the same level to be refined. According to Ling Pengyun's estimation, if you want to upgrade the grade of a 5 elements 100 treasures water to the 3rd level by smelting spiritual objects, it will cost at least 1 million spiritual stones, which is equivalent to the price of 3 ordinary magic weapons, and is several times higher than the cost of refining the attack magic weapon Bihai Chong Yuan Baozu recorded in the Kanglan Bihai Jing of the Kanglan Bihai sect. This is also a common problem of most mimicry magic weapons. Although they are powerful, they are expensive and difficult to refine. But Ling Pengyun has not considered this point at present. Now that Ling's is on the right track, even if he becomes a hands-off boss, Ling's can still operate normally. Ling's is currently enough to serve as his strongest backing, enough to support him in refining a third level 5 elements treasure water in the future. The 5 elements Hunun Bell is just an ordinary copper bell type magic weapon, but it is stronger. The 5 elements fantasy mist bottle is more special. It is a magic weapon of the magic way, and this magic weapon can cooperate with the 5 element spirit mist of the natal spell. This treasure can not only produce the 5 element spirit mist by itself, but also purify the pure 5 element spirit mist stored in the bottle, which can make the effect of this mist stronger. And the 5 element spirit mist, the natal spell, can speed up the 5 elements fantasy mist bottle to breed the 5 element spirit mist and purify this mist, which can be said to be extremely mysterious. At the beginning, in order to make the spell and the 5 elements fantasy mist bottle achieve such an effect, Ling Pengyun spent countless efforts and deduced for several years before completing it. However, whether it was the 3 top-notch superior innate spells or the 3 innate magic tools, they were still in theory. Under normal circumstances, the 3 innate spells could only be practiced by those who practiced the Lingxiao 5 Elements treasure book, and the same was true for the 3 innate magic tools. Even if Ling Pengyun, the creator, could use a special method to perform the 3 spells or create the magic tool, it would be difficult to fully exert its power. After all, he did not use the special spiritual power cultivated from the Lingxiao 5 Elements treasure book as a source to stimulate those spells and magic tools. Everything can only be verified when Li Ming enters the foundation building stage. Ling Pengyun slowly opened his eyes and murmured. Innate spells and innate magic tools are the means used by foundation building cultivators, and are difficult for key training cultivators to master. Then, he stood up, left the meditation room where he was practicing, and went to see Ling Liming, the first person to try to practice the Lingxiao 5 Elements treasure book. Ling Liming has been practicing the Lingxiao 5 Elements treasure book for 20 years. Although, during this period, he encountered several big troubles, and each time he almost caused the internal spiritual power to riot and break through the meridians due to the loopholes in the technique, but fortunately, every time there was the help of Ling Pengyun, the creator of the technique, to resolve these troubles and gradually improve the potential loopholes in the technique. And 20 years later, Ling Liming also entered the peak of the 9th level of key training from a cultivator who had not yet entered the Tao, and was only half a step away from entering the perfection of key training. This kind of cultivation speed can be said to be extremely fast, much faster than the cultivation speed of some of the family's double spiritual root cultivators with slightly inferior qualifications, enough to be comparable to the family's top group of young geniuses. According to this progress, in the future, Ling Liming will be able to try to impact the foundation at most when he is about 30 years old. And he, a cultivator with 5 spiritual roots who is not strong in sensing spiritual energy, can have such a cultivation speed, naturally thanks to his firm choice to try to practice the Lingxiao 5 Elements treasures technique. It was because of that technique that he got the full support of Ling Pengyun. He now had this golden elixir cave with pure spiritual energy of the 5 elements, plus various top-level spiritual fruits and spiritual waters of the key training realm. Moreover, because the Lingxiao 5 Elements technique was of top-level quality, his training speed was several times faster than before. Under various factors, this is how Ling Liming became what he is today. And this time, Ling Pengyun saw that Ling Liming was only one step away from reaching the perfection of key training, and he was also anxious. He immediately got Ling Liming several second-level spiritual fruits to speed up Ling Liming's work of purifying the spiritual power in his body. It was also because of this that in just 2 months, Ling Liming successfully entered the realm of key training perfection. Ling Pengyun saw that Ling Liming had poor comprehension and made slow progress in comprehending the family's methods of quenching the meridians and forging the spirit that were helpful for breaking through the realm. So he directly got Ling Liming a foundation building pill that could assist cultivators in breaking through the foundation building stage, as well as several rare spiritual objects that would not overlap with the effects of the foundation building pill. In this way, Ling Liming's success rate in breaking through the foundation building stage was as high as 50% to 60%. The Lingxiao 5 Elements treasure book also focused on the richness of spiritual power. For this reason, although Ling Liming practiced quickly, his foundation was still extremely solid. Under such circumstances, he also successfully entered the foundation building stage with the help of the spiritual objects. This also made Ling Liming very excited. If it were normal in the past, with his qualifications, it would be impossible to enter the foundation building stage so quickly. You know, he is only 29 years old now. This speed of entering the foundation building stage is enough to rank among the top in the 200 or 300 years of Ling's construction. This was something Ling Liming had never dared to think about before. Even if he had Ling Wangsu, a giant cultivator, as his father, he would not have achieved what he has now. After all, with his father's status in the clan, it would be difficult for him to get a giant cave house here. He also had no ability to get him so many rare foundation building spiritual objects to increase his chances of entering the foundation building stage. Among the entire Ling family, only Ling Pengyun, a cultivator with a wide network of people and extraordinary means, could do it. For this reason, he was particularly grateful to Ling Pengyun, and even kowtowed to Ling Pengyun to thank him after he entered the foundation building stage. Ling Pengyun was also quite satisfied with this move, and he also gave Ling Liming a batch of foundation building resources that had been prepared long ago, plus the Lingxiao 5 Elements treasure book foundation building chapter that had been perfected to the top level. Then, he gave orders. Liming, quickly comprehend this foundation building chapter. As usual, if there are any problems during cultivation, call me in time. One more thing, after comprehending the first level of this foundation building chapter, focus on comprehending the 3 life-defining techniques and the methods of refining the 3 life-defining instruments that come with this technique. After comprehending them all, be sure to call me so that I can see the power of the 3 life-defining techniques. As for the 3 life-defining instruments that come with this technique, I will assist you in refining them when the time comes. Ling Liming was already very grateful to Ling Pengyun. Ling Pengyun's arrangement was also the normal process for cultivators after entering the foundation building stage. Naturally, he would not refuse such an arrangement, and he immediately agreed. Everything is up to my great-grandfather's arrangement. Ling Pengyun nodded, and told Ling Liming about his insights into the foundation building chapter of Lingxiao 5 Elements treasure book in advance. He then entered his own cave again, and used the Lingxiao 5 Elements treasure book's key training and foundation building chapter as the source to deduce the cultivation method of the golden elixir chapter. Chapter 1034, The Great Chaos in the Boundless Sea once every 300 years. However, there were many troubles in deducing the giant chapter, and the deduction was extremely difficult. Ling Pengyun's deduction progress was greatly slowed down. 4 years later, he had only deduced half of the cultivation and operation methods of the giant initial stage. It would take at least another 4 or 5 years to perfect the cultivation methods of the giant initial stage. And there are also the cultivation and operation methods of the giant middle stage, giant late stage, and giant perfection. It's just a pity that the monster chaos in the boundless sea area, which happens once every 300 years, is only 1 year away. Ling Pengyun is a little worried about the 2 branches of the family there, so he plans to go there to take charge in case of any accidents. For this reason, he can only interrupt the deduction of the exercises. At the same time, the boundless sea area, the 36 seas of the human race. The hinterland of the Muiyan Sea, one of the 2 seas under the command of the Muiyan immortal sect, which has many nascent souls. On this day, the territory of the Shanhai Jin clan welcomed a giant elder from the Muiyan immortal sect. Jin Feng, the head of the Jin clan, and Ling Pengyun, the only giant and supreme elder of the Jin clan, both personally went forward to greet him. After all, the Shanhai Jin clan is a subordinate force of the Muiyan immortal sect, a major force of the middle-level Yuanying stage. For such a visitor from the upper sect, it is natural to treat him with courtesy. However, what the giant elder said made the 2 of them sad. After the giant elder finished speaking, he hurriedly left the Shanhai island of the Jin clan, leaving only the head of the family, Jin Feng, and Ling Pengyun sighing constantly in the welcoming hall of the island. After a long while, the 2 left the hall and returned to the depths of the island. And just a few days after this incident, many cultivators from the low-level spiritual veins in the entire Shanhai Island area rushed to Shanhai Island. As a result, the entire Shanhai Island gathered nearly 2,000 cultivators, and among these cultivators, only 50% were from the Jin clan. Among the other 50% of the cultivators, 30% were from the Shanhai Island Jiu family, which originally had the third-level spiritual veins. The other 20% of the cultivators were from the clan of the Hoyao Zhenren, a casual cultivator who rented 100 spiritual veins from the Shanhai Jin family in the early years and established a family. The family established by this Hoyao Zhenren is called Hoyao Lin. Strictly speaking, this small sea area belonging to the Shanhai Island Jin family has more than 1,500 spiritual veins, which are divided by the three major forces. Among them, the Shanhai Jin family, which is a branch of the Ling family, occupies the most spiritual veins. Although there are few clansmen in this clan, after years of development, there are only about 1,000. However, this clan controls 70% of the spiritual veins in this area, which is more than 1,000 spiritual veins. The remaining more than 500 spiritual veins are in the hands of the Jiu family, and this clan currently has more than 3,000 clansmen. The Hoyao Lin clan nominally did not have any spiritual veins. It was only when the Jin clan first occupied Shanhai Island that Hoyao Lin clan's false alchemy master Hoyao Zhenren, with his third-level alchemy skills, joined the Shanhai Jin clan in exchange for the right to rent the 100 spiritual veins held by the Jin clan, which gave them a foothold. However, it is worth mentioning that several decades ago, after Chu's Hongshan, the false alchemy master of the Chu clan, had exhausted his lifespan, the Hoyao Lin clan made a deal with the Chu clan, which had no more golden elixir. In the end, the Chu clan sold 100 spiritual veins to the Hoyao Lin clan, and the number of spiritual veins controlled by the Lin clan reached more than 200. The number of clan members in this clan also increased to nearly 1,000 through various means. The Chu family gradually began to decline because they had no golden elixir to guard them. All their businesses outside were suppressed. If the family had not wisely sold the Shanhai Island with a third-level spiritual vein to the Jin family branch in the early years in exchange for 1,000 years of protection, the Jiu family, which now has the power of golden elixir, would have been swallowed up by some surrounding forces. Some of the cultivators of the three forces in the Shanhai Island area gathered in Shanhai Island because of the previous Muingxianzong Jinden. The Muingxianzong Jinden brought news that in a month, a flying boat from the Muingxianzong would come to Shanhai Island to pick up 3,000 low-level cultivators and a golden elixir fighter to guard the Wrathful Whale Sea under the command of the Muingxianzong near the Demon Clan, to block the impact of the Demon Clan during the Demon Beast chaos that occurs once every 300 years in a year. Previously, after discussion, the three major forces had already planned the number of 3,000 cultivators to go on the expedition. The Shanhai Jin family and the affiliated Lin family, two forces with a golden elixir, only sent out 500 cultivators, totaling 1,000 cultivators. The remaining 2,000 places fell to the Jiu family, which had no golden elixir. This family became a victim and could only accept their fate. The missing golden elixir fighter was provided by the Jin family. The golden elixir candidate was naturally Ling Pengyun, the supreme elder of the Jin family. A month passed quickly, and the flying boat of the Muing Immortal sect arrived on time. Ling Pengyun also took the 3,000 low-level cultivators who had been prepared long ago and left Shanhai Island on the flying boat of the Muing Immortal sect. After a few months, when Ling Pengyun arrived here, the entire Shanhai Island area had become much more depressed, and there were few traces of cultivators. After he found Ling Changsha who was hiding in Shanhai Island, he learned about what happened in Shanhai Island a few months ago. Ling Pengyun also learned from Ling Changsha that the Fire Dragon sect, another branch of the family in the territory of the Mingshuxan sect, a medium-level force not far away, also encountered such a situation. The Mingshu sect, the upper force, summoned 3,000 low-level cultivators and a golden elixir fighter. The golden elixir fighter sent by the Fire Dragon sect was naturally Ling Pengyun. In addition, he also took away the golden elixir monster that Ling Pengyun had controlled with a third-level prisoner ring in his early years. As for the 3,000 cultivators sent out, most of them were disciples of the Fire Dragon sect, and only a few were family cultivators hiding in the sect. That group of family cultivators also voluntarily followed Ling Pengyun. They were all a group of extraordinary people who were good at fighting and planned to take advantage of this rare chaos of monsters in the boundless sea to earn some resources. In addition, the golden elixir fire dragon of Ling Pengyun, the leader of the Fire Dragon sect, which was originally in the secret realm of the Kanglan Bahai sect, was also brought back to the sect by Ling Pengyun not long ago. During this period, The fire dragon sect was also guarded by the golden core fire dragon to prevent any accidents. After learning about these things, Ling Pengyun was relieved. Then, he stayed directly on this mountain island and continued to deduce the golden core chapter of Lingxiao, 5 Elements treasure book. Before, when he came to the boundless sea to cultivate immortals and went to the Kanglin's secret realm, he had left many life-saving items to the fake Dan Ling Pengyun of the Jin branch and the leader of the fire dragon sect, Ling Pengyun. With those spiritual objects, even if the two of them rushed to the front line of the boundless sea to fight the monsters, as long as they were lucky, they would not be in danger of life. Ling Pengyun stayed on the mountain island to avoid the monster beast chaos that happened once every 300 years, and the monsters would sneak into the hinterland of the human race to cause chaos and harm the Jin family of the mountain island. At the same time, if the fire dragon sect branch in the Mingshu Sea next to the Muiyuan Sea was in danger, he could also rush to that place through the teleportation array of the Muiyuan market near the mountain island. Chapter 1035, Danger in the Small Sea Area of Shanghai. It can be said that Ling Pengyun is currently in charge of the mountain and sea islands, and also in charge of the fire dragon sect. As for such precautions, there is a reason. The demons in the immortal cultivation world of the boundless sea are not like the demons in the immortal cultivation world of the northern wilderness, who are beaten back by the human forces. The demons in this immortal cultivation world are extremely powerful, and the demon forces in this immortal cultivation world are also particularly strong. Under the combined efforts of these two parties, they have actually suppressed the human race for several thousand years. Only a few middle-level Yuanying forces such as the Muiyuan immortal sect, which have many Yuanyings in charge, have an advantage. Moreover, because the immortal cultivation world in the boundless sea is relatively prosperous, the chaos of the three forces of righteousness, demons and monsters occurs every 300 years, and there are at least dozens of Yuanying forces involved in the three parties. It can be said that it is a fight between gods. Under such circumstances, the monster chaos in this immortal cultivation world every 300 years is actually dozens or even dozens of times more dangerous than the monster chaos in the immortal cultivation world of Zhongzhou every 100 years. Horizontal ellipsis. In a blink of an eye, several months passed. The day of the monster rebellion that happens once every 300 years in the boundless sea has arrived. Countless monsters in the boundless monster sea also invaded the adjacent righteous territories. The major demon cultivation forces in the local cultivation world looked for suitable opportunities to sneak into the hinterland of the major righteous forces and take the opportunity to attack the forces. The entire boundless sea cultivation world has become filled with smoke and chaos. The traces of many monsters and demons have suddenly appeared in the righteous areas that were once peaceful. Even the Muiyuan Sea, which is far away from the front line of the wrathful Whale Sea, under the command of the Muiyuan immortal sect, is in the same situation. The spiritual veins in the hundreds of thousands of miles around the Jin branch of the mountain and sea islands are often attacked by monsters and demons drifting along the ocean. Fortunately, the attacking monsters are not strong, and the important spiritual veins are protected by formations, so there are not too many casualties for the time being. A year has passed in a blink of an eye. This day, during the demon rebellion, Ling Qingshi, the most powerful person who stayed behind in the Shanhai Island Jin clan branch, received a request for help. Ling Qingshi is the current Shanhai Island Jin clan elder. Whether it is now or in the past, all the affairs of the Jin clan are in charge of him. He knows everything about the Jin clan. This is why he holds such a position. This branch was built by the family, not the Jin clan. Only when the family members occupy the main position and grasp the lifeblood of this branch can this branch be controlled. When Ling Qingshi saw the request for help, he frowned. It was because the request for help came from the Chu clan, one of the two major affiliated families under the Jin clan branch. The Chu clan said that their family was besieged by tens of thousands of low-level monsters and hundreds of foundation-building monsters. In just half a day, more than 200 earth-boundary spirit veins under their family were forcibly breached. The cultivators stationed in them were also killed. In order to avoid casualties, this clan abandoned all the remaining more than 200 low-level spiritual veins and retreated to the clan's Bayun Island. Since then, the remaining more than 400 spiritual veins under this clan can be said to have been lost. Only one place on Bayun Island was spared. There is a quasi-third-level spiritual vein on this island, and a third-level defensive formation was arranged by this clan. After all, the Chu family was originally a giant family that has lasted for thousands of years. Even if it has sold the mountains and sea islands with third-level spiritual veins, this clan still has some foundation. And the remaining cultivators of the Jiu family can barely resist the tens of thousands of monsters that are attacking with the help of the third-level defensive formation in Bayun Island. However, the spiritual veins in the island are only at the quasi-third level after all, and it is difficult to keep the formation open for a long time. According to the letter, Bayun Island will be breached in a month at most. And the Bai family also said in the letter that they had already asked for help from the Muing Immortal sect, but they have not received a reply. The Bai Unkiu family also speculated that there might be a giant and demon clan behind the huge demon clan that attacked their family. After all, the demon clan was too huge. This was also a point of worry for the Jin clan's elder Ling Chengshi. The spirit veins under the Bai Unkiu family were deliberately arranged by the Jin clan branch in the early years. They were all in the outer area of the Jin clan branch's territory, forming a circle that surrounded the entire sea area around the Jin clan branch. Judging from the scale of the demon clan that attacked the Bai Unkiu family, there is indeed a possibility that there is a giant and demon king. Once the Chu family is breached, the demon clan will inevitably break into the hinterland of the Shanhai Jin clan's territory. At that time, the low-level spirit veins of the Jin clan and the Jin clan monks stationed in them will suffer. At this time, the fake Dan Hoyao Zhenren of the Hoyao Lin clan arrived. The ancestor of the Hoyao Lin clan came this time because he received a request for help from the Bai Unkiu family. He planned to discuss with the Jin clan elder Ling Chengshi whether he should go to support the Chu family. Support is definitely needed. Once the Chu family is lost, our two families will not be able to survive. Also, don't forget that the Chu family has more than 1,000 cultivators left in their clan's Bayun Island, and tens of thousands of mortals under their command. Once these people are captured by the demons, the power of the demons will surely increase greatly. At that time, it will be even more difficult for us to deal with the demons. Ling Chengshi, the chief elder of the Jin clan, frowned and said, "Then my friend, has your clan's guardian spirit beast Feng Peng returned?" Hoyao Zhenren, the clan leader of the Hoyao Lin clan, asked. "Feng Yingpeng of our clan is in the critical moment of retreat. This time, I will lead the people of our Jin clan to support the Chu family. I hope that the senior can help us. I am afraid that it will be difficult for the Muing Immortal sect to send people to support us. This time, we will rely on the senior." Ling Chengshi was slightly stunned. As the elder of the branch, his father was Ling Pengyun, the supreme elder of the Jin clan. He naturally knew that Feng Yingpeng, who was stationed in the Jin clan branch, had returned to the family to practice since his father entered the false elixir. However, he naturally would not say such things. He just said a simple sentence and named the head of the Hoyao Lin clan, Hoyao Zhenren, to go. Hoyao Zhenren frowned when he heard this. If the Jin clan did not send the giant and realm guardian spirit beast Feng Yingpeng to support, once the giant and demon king was hidden among the tens of thousands of demon beasts besieging the Chu family, he would have to go up, which would be extremely dangerous. But he did not reject Ling Chengshi's proposal. After all, the Hoyao Lin clan he founded was a subsidiary of the Jin clan where Ling Chengshi was. He sighed, gritted his teeth, and agreed to this matter. Immediately, he left Shanhai Island and returned to the Wei clan to dispatch the monks. After Ling Chengshi cast a communication talisman towards the Shanhai Mountain with a third-level spiritual vein deep in Shanhai Island, he also began to summon the monks of the Jin clan stationed in the clan. In just half a day, Ling Chengshi gathered a full 500 Jin clan monks. After a few days, the fake Dan Hoyao Zhenren of the affiliated Hoyao Lin clan also brought 500 low-level monks of the Lin clan. The master and the servants successfully gathered, and the number of monks of the two forces reached more than 1,000. The strongest among them was naturally the fake Dan patriarch Hoyao Zhenren of the Hoyao Lin clan. The second was Ling Chengshi, a perfect foundation-building monk. The group also left Shanhai Island on two second-level upper-grade medium-sized flying boats. Half a month later, the support teams of the Shanhai Island Jin family and the Hoyao Lin family finally arrived near the Bayun Jiu family. The current situation of the Jiu family is indeed as described in the letter for help. There are tens of thousands of monsters surrounding the Bayun Island of the Jiu family, and they are constantly bombarding the Bayun Jiu family's protective formation. Just when the support teams of the Jin family and the Lin family wanted to kill through the monster group and enter Bayun Island to garrison here with the Jiu family, a giant in realm Zuanbing giant whale suddenly appeared among the group of low-level monsters and came to kill. Fortunately, the great elder of the Jin family, Ling Chengshi, was well prepared. He and the 500 Jin family members in the team jointly set up a third-level defense formation to protect the entire support team and block the attack of the giant in realm Zuanbing giant whale. Hoyo Zhenren, the fake Dan realm patriarch of the Hoyo Lin family, also took action in time and blocked several magic weapons of the Zuanbing giant whale. In addition, the group of Jiu family members on Bayun Island attacked desperately to cover the support team. The supporters from the Jin and Lin clans also successfully entered Bayun Island. The three parties united as one at this moment and worked together to stop the enemy. Chapter 1036 Zhengjin Mysterious Thunder Binghurl Mysterious Thunder. Thousands of miles away from Bayun Island, deep in the sea, there was a huge black ice whale crawling on the seabed. Although it did not leak any breath, the size of this whale was several times larger than the black ice whale in the early stage of the Golden Core realm that led tens of thousands of demons to attack the Bayun Island of the Jiu family. This whale was looking in the direction of the Bayun Island of the Jiu family. It seemed that it could see the situation of Bayun Island through thousands of miles. A hint of sarcasm flashed in its expression. Then, it slowly turned its head and looked at a tiny figure beside it. The man was wearing black clothes and his figure could not be seen, nor did he have any breath. Fellow Taoist of the Holy Demon Sect, the only one left in this small sea area of mountains and seas, the Hoyo Lin family's fake Dan Hoyo Zhenren, has entered Bayun Island. It's time for us to take action. The man in black nodded and replied. Yes. Although this was only one word, it revealed a sense of excitement. The figures of the two also disappeared here. After only half a day, when they appeared again, they had already arrived at the Lin clan's Hoyo Island, which had a relatively weak defense. At present, the only ones in the Shanhai small sea area that were still safe were the Shanhai Jin clan and the Hoyo Lin clan. Of the two forces, the Hoyo Lin clan was naturally the weakest. Immediately, the Zuanbing giant whale and the black-clothed monk launched an attack. Although Hoyo Island was the Lin clan's land, the Hoyo true man of the Falstan realm spent a lot of money to buy a third-level lower-grade defense formation and set it up in it. The spiritual vein in the island was also upgraded to the quasi-third-level realm by the clan at the cost of many spiritual stones. However, the huge Zuanbing giant whale and the black-clothed monk had reached the peak of the early Jinden stage, and their strength was extremely strong. Hoyo true man and others who were in the Bayun family were trapped again and could not come back to support. Under such circumstances, the Hoyo Lin clan's land was captured in just 10 days. The monks stationed on Hoyo Island, as well as hundreds of thousands of mortals, also fell into the mouth of the giant black ice whale, or were collected by the black-robed monks. Afterwards, the two of them deliberately went to the various low-level spiritual veins rented by Hoyo Lin's family, and strangled hundreds of thousands of mortals among them, either eating them or pretending to be away, which was extremely cruel. After the two of them finished this, they set their sights on Shanhai Jin's family. As usual, they went straight to Shanhai Island, the clan land of the Jin family. They planned to destroy this clan land first, and then swallow up the low-level spiritual veins one by one. However, before the two of them attacked Shanhai Island for long, two huge thunders of different colors flew out from Shanhai Mountain, which had a third-level spiritual vein deep in Shanhai Island. The golden thunder contained infinite Zhengjin Qi and swept around, piercing countless voids, just like a flying sword containing Penbo sword intent. The red lightning was like a huge fireball, carrying a huge high temperature, raising the surrounding temperature several times. The Zuanbing giant whale at the peak of the early Jinden stage and the Saint Demon Sect demon cultivator who attacked the mountain and sea island were all shocked. Immediately, they recognized that the two lightnings were the famous middle-level magical powers Zhengjin Zuanli and Binghuo Zuanli. However, as the two lightnings got closer, they both found that the aura of the two lightnings was ridiculously strong. They couldn't even look directly at them. If they stared at the two lightnings, they would even feel a slight sting in their eyes. At least a full-strength attack from a Jinden perfect cultivator. The face of the Saint Demon Sect's Jinden cultivator changed drastically and exclaimed. Immediately, he supported various defensive measures and sacrificed a ghost flag, from which he summoned 2 evil ghosts at the first level of Jinden and 4 evil ghosts at the perfect foundation to block behind him, and he turned around and ran. The giant black ice whale on the side reacted slowly, But seeing the situation was not good, it immediately used various defensive means around its body and ran away. But how could the two of them outrun the pursuit of Black Thunder? In addition to its great power, the Thunder attribute magic power was also extremely fast. After a few breaths, the two Thunders smashed the evil ghost sacrificed by the ghost cultivator of the holy demon sect and caught up with him. Only 2 roars were heard, and both the giant black ice whale and the demon cultivator were covered by countless thunders. At the same time, 2 painful wails were heard. In just half a breath, the thunders dissipated, and only 2 bodies burned to charcoal were left in the 2 voids, without any life. Then, the 2 bodies seemed to be controlled, and entered the island through a sudden gap in the mountain and sea island protection formation. And in the surprised eyes of the Jin family cultivators stationed on the island, they slowly flew into the mountain and sea mountain with a 3rd-level spiritual vein deep in the mountain and sea island. Fuck, they killed 2 peak giant and early stage beings in an instant. When did our clan have such a powerful method? Do you think it was the giant in realm Fenggyun Peng of the Supreme Elder of Lingpeng Mountain? It's really possible. Back then, the ancestor Fenggyun Peng was extremely powerful. After so many years, it is entirely possible that the ancestor's strength can be so strong. Bullshit, no matter how strong the ancestor is, how could he improve so fast? In my opinion, it is probably that the ancestor Fenggyun Peng used something like a magic talisman. The Jin family cultivators stationed on the island saw the scene and talked about it. Because there was no other breath when the Qingshi and Renshu Black Thunder was shot, they didn't know who shot it, so they guessed it was a magic talisman. At the same time, on the top of the mountain in the depths of the mountain island, Ling Pengyun was looking at the corpse of the black ice giant whale and the corpse of the Saint Demon Sect demon cultivator, which had turned into 2 charcoal-like bodies in front of him, and his brows were full of regret. The 2 mysterious thunderbolts just now completely destroyed the 2 corpses. There was no spiritual energy in the 2 corpses. Not only could they not be used to refine demon corpses, but they were also useless for monsters to eat. These 2 corpses are worthless. What a pity. At least tens of thousands of spiritual stones have been lost. These Jengjin Mysterious Thunder and Binghuo Mysterious Thunder, which are known to be the most powerful and the best at attacking among the pure Yang Mysterious Thunderbolts, are indeed strong. They are several times stronger than the 2 Qingshi Mysterious Thunder and Renshu Mysterious Thunder that I learned in my early years. It's just that their power is too strong. In the future, I still can't use this kind of killing Mysterious Thunder method to kill such weaker golden elixirs. Jengjin Mysterious Thunder and Binghuo Mysterious Thunder were what he learned in recent years when he was comprehending the pure Yang 5 elements Mysterious Thunderbolt given by Kanglin's Henjin, the leader of Kanglin Bahe sect. Moreover, in addition to the water-attributed pure Yang Zhuanlei Ren Shui Zhuanlei that he had learned in his early years, he also relied on the method recorded in the pure Yang 5 elements Zhuanlei to learn the other 2 pure Yang Zhuanlei Jiamu Zhuanlei and Wu Tu Zhuanlei. At present, he has also learned all the 5 pure Yang intermediate Zhuanlei of the 5 elements. He only needs to comprehend the method of the pure Yang 5 elements Zhuanlei, and he can rely on the 5 pure Yang Zhuanlei of the 5 elements as the source to display the powerful superior supernatural power of the 5 elements pure Yang Zhuanlei. Chapter 1037 Great Changes in the Holy Demon Sect. At this moment, Ling Changsha, who was standing by, felt like crying but had no tears when she heard his father Ling Pengyun's words of pity. Dad, you are too arrogant. If these 2 corpses were still alive, they would be so angry that they would vomit blood. Ling Changsha said with a wry smile. Ha, let them vomit. But your words reminded me that this demon cultivator has the aura of the demon mysterious ghost controlling art on his body. This technique is one of the inherited techniques of the holy demon sect. Other demon sects do not have it. I guess this person is a cultivator from the holy demon sect. But why would this person from the holy demon sect come to this small mountain sea area of the Muing Sea to cause trouble at this time? Is there any change? Ling Pengyun looked at the corpse of the demon cultivator, a little puzzled, and said, in the past, although the holy demon sect was known as the first demon sect in the boundless sea and the first force of the human race, it was the best in the entire boundless sea cultivation world in the human race, and was only weaker than the 2 top Yuanying demon clans in the boundless demon sea. However, not every righteous force dared to provoke the demon sect. After all, the demon sect was only one-on-one strong enough to suppress other forces. If they were attacked by the righteous forces, they would be afraid. Therefore, in the past, Every 300 years during the chaos, the holy demon sect would at most attack the territory of the Liang immortal sect, the first righteous sect, and another nascent soul immortal sect nearby. It rarely sent demon cultivators to attack the territories of other nascent soul forces to avoid trouble. Thinking about it this way, this matter is indeed a bit strange. After many years, Lingxiao has become more mature. He also thought about it carefully and felt that something was wrong. I'll go out and ask around. Ling Pengyun was puzzled and said to Lingxiao. Then, he raised his hand to collect the corpse of the Zuanbing giant whale and the corpse of the demon cultivator of the holy demon sect, and then turned into a white shadow and disappeared into the void. Not long after, Ling Pengyun appeared in the sea area of a giant force near the Shanhai Small Sea Area. As he went deeper into the sea area of this force, he also saw that this force was under attack. There were not only demons but also a giant demon cultivator. Ling Pengyun observed his aura and immediately recognized that the cultivation method this person practiced was also a unique cultivation method of the holy demon sect. This matter also made Ling Pengyun feel a chill in his heart. He also went straight to the Muigan Xianzong station in the core of the Muigan Sea area, but before he approached the Muigan Xianzong station, just approaching it from millions of miles, he felt a huge wave of spiritual power coming from that direction. Is this nascent soul fighting? Ling Pengyun was secretly shocked. This incident also made Ling Pengyun dare not get closer, but he did observe the spiritual power fluctuations coming from the direction of the Muigan Xianzong from a distance. Among them, in addition to sensing a nascent soul aura, he also felt a monstrous demon cultivator aura. He was very familiar with this aura. Back then, when the owner of this breath was attacking the nascent soul, he summoned several nascent soul ghosts to help. His strength was monstrous. The demon king of the holy demon sect, how could this demon king appear here? Ling Pengyun's face was full of surprise. He didn't dare to stay for long, and left the place immediately. Instead, he rushed to a desolate seabed in the Muigan Sea. After a short pause, he scanned the surroundings with his spiritual sense. Seeing that there was no movement around, he dived into a deep ditch that was bottomless. There was an inconspicuous small valley inside. Going deep into it, you can see a small cave inside. As soon as he entered the cave, Ling Pengyun took out a token and pinched his fingers to hide it. Then, a black deep hole appeared in front of him. There was also a breath of space breaking around, but for some reason, this breath could not be transmitted out of this small cave. Even if someone was outside the cave, it would be difficult to detect the movement here. Ling Pengyun also stretched his legs and stepped into the deep cave the next moment. After a dizzy spell, another scene appeared in front of him. In front of him was a magnificent mountain gate, on which hung a plaque with the words Kanglin's Secret Realm written on it. On the left and right sides of the mountain gate, there were two white-haired foundation building perfect cultivators sitting cross-legged. When they saw Ling Pengyun coming, they came up to greet him. However, Ling Pengyun ignored them and went straight to the miscellaneous mountain deep in the secret realm. The sect's miscellaneous hall was in it, and this mountain was named after it. As soon as Ling Pengyun entered the mountain, he went directly into the miscellaneous hall in the mountain. At this moment, the hall was a little depressed. In addition to the few Kanglin sect cultivators who managed this place, there were only a few cultivators like Baiyas who accepted some tasks of refining spiritual objects or taking care of spiritual plants in front of the task notice. After Ling Pengyun entered this place, a white-haired foundation building cultivator came to greet him. This person had a slightly anxious look on his face and asked, "Elder Ling, why did you enter the secret realm at this time? Is there someone following you?" Ling Pengyun glanced at the old man and immediately remembered his identity. This person was the chief steward of the miscellaneous hall. Apart from the several hall masters of the miscellaneous hall, this person was the most powerful person in the hall. And those hall masters were usually in seclusion, and the affairs of the entire miscellaneous hall were mostly managed by this chief steward. There is no tale. I will take care of it when I enter the secret realm. Recently, I have been in the boundless sea. I have observed that there are many Jinden of the Holy Demon Sect under the command of the Muyuan Immortal Sect. Even the base of the Muyuan Immortal Sect was attacked by the vengeful Ghost Demon Lord who was at the peak of the early Jinden stage of the Holy Demon Sect. Do you know the reason, Grand Deacon? Upon hearing this, the old Grand Deacon's expression returned to normal. He also bowed respectfully to Ling Pengyun and said respectfully, "I hope Elder Ling will forgive me. I was too nervous just now and lost my composure." Recently, the sect has banned disciples in the secret realm from going out to prevent outsiders from discovering the entrances to the secret realm. That's why I'm a little anxious about the elder's arrival. As for what the elder asked, the sect's intelligence department has found out some inside information. It is said that the mountain puppet demon lord of the holy demon sect, who is good at physical cultivation and has reached the peak of the middle nascent soul stage, has entered the late nascent soul stage. Also, it is rumored that this sect has also recruited the sinister demon lord from your northern wilderness cultivation world. Under such circumstances, the strength of this sect has been greatly improved. It can easily compete with the first major righteous sect, the Liang Immortal Sect, and another major righteous nascent soul sect, the Firebird Immortal Sect. The Muiwan sect has been gaining strength over the past few thousand years. 10,000 years ago, the sect had a feud with the Holy Demon Sect. It is estimated that the Holy Demon Sect also intended to take advantage of this chaotic period to suppress the Muiwan sect and reduce its strength, so it sent its followers to invade the Muiwan sect. However, it is precisely because of the Muiwan sect that the pressure on the Liang sect has been relieved. Otherwise, our sect would have to go out to help the Liang sect resist the invasion of the Holy Demon Sect. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1038, 3-1 in the future. Ling Pengyun was shocked when he heard these two pieces of news. There are few masters in the late nascent soul stage in the world. It is difficult for the entire human race in the boundless sea to gather a few masters in the late nascent soul stage, whether in the demonic path or the righteous path. However, under such circumstances, the Holy Demon Sect currently has two masters. The master of the Holy Demon Sect, the old man Shengmo, is also a master in the late nascent soul stage, and he is also at the 9th level of the nascent soul stage. He is extremely powerful and is known as the number one in the human race in both the righteous and demonic paths. He was also very surprised that the Yindu demon lord, who had come from the northern wilderness Zeuxan world, joined the Holy Demon Sect. However, thinking about the failure of the Yindu demon sect to expand its territory in the early years, it is understandable that the Yindu demon lord joined the Holy Demon Sect. With the addition of the Yindu demon lord, the number of demon lords in this demon sect has increased to as many as 7, which is the human race force with the most nascent souls in the boundless Zeuxan world. I am afraid that no one will be able to suppress this holy demon sect in the future. Ling Pengyun sighed helplessly. In the past, the Liang Immortal Sect, the largest sect of the righteous path, might have been able to rely on the Fire Sparrow Immortal Sect that it had supported to contain the Holy Demon Sect, but in the future, it would be good if they could protect themselves. The Liang Immortal Sect only has 4 Yuanyings, and the Fire Sparrow Immortal Sect only has 1 Yuanying. The two major forces combined only have 5 Yuanyings. Moreover, among them, only the old True Lord Qikyang of the Liang Immortal Sect is in the late Yuanying stage. More importantly, the old True Lord has a short lifespan. Recently, he dared not act casually, so as not to shake the foundation and cause his lifespan to be lost too quickly. Under such circumstances, how can this sect and the Fire Sparrow Immortal Sect resist the prosperous Holy Demon Sect? At this moment, Ling Pengyun has thought of the chaos that will happen in the Boundless Sea in the future. What do the sects think about this? Ling Pengyun asked. In the early years, in order to assist your master, the elder Bishu Zhenjin, the sect had formed an alliance with the Liang Immortal Sect, the largest sect of our righteous path. And the territory of the Liang Immortal Sect borders the territory of the Holy Demon Sect. In the future, the probability of the two sects fighting is estimated to be high. At that time, our sect will probably support the Liang Immortal Sect. Of course, if the Liang Immortal Sect is not in crisis, our sect will probably not take action against the Holy Demon Sect at will. The old deacon in the miscellaneous hall said. Ling Pengyun nodded lightly, and his face looked better. If the Kanglin Bahe sect assisted the Liang Immortal Sect, and the Huak Immortal Sect supported by the Liang Immortal Sect joined forces, it would be no problem to stop the Holy Demon Sect. Then, he did not stay here for long, and immediately left here and went to Bishu Island. This time, he met his senior sister Wang Ying, who he had not seen last time he came here, as well as the junior brother Lin Luo who had the spirit body of the Tongfu, and Ling Liqin's only son Ling Renai. Senior sister Wang Ying successfully entered the realm of the middle stage of the Golden Core during her last retreat. Perhaps it was because of her improved cultivation that she looked younger than before. Although she was over 200 years old, she was still a 20-year-old girl now. She had an extraordinary temperament and a smile on her face from time to time. She was very friendly, like a sister next door. However, this was only when she was facing Ling Pengyun and people who were close to her. Ling Pengyun knew that senior sister Wang Ying always had a cold face when facing other cultivators in the sect. Although she was not difficult to get along with, she would talk very little. In addition, Wang Ying was the most talented person in the sect in terms of spiritual plants. Therefore, she was secretly given a title by the people in the sect, called Iceberg Spiritual Plant Fairy. This incident also caused Ling Pengyun to often make fun of senior sister Wang Ying. It is also worth mentioning that Wang Ying's spiritual plants had advanced to the level of the third-level middle grade several decades ago, and she had long been considered a third-level middle grade spiritual plant husband. Ling Renai has been in his teens for many years, and he looks more stable. He has a stronger bookish aura, just like a scholar. 25 years ago, when Ling Pengyun came to the secret realm to find a way to make up for his spiritual roots, Ling Renai was in seclusion to break through the middle stage of foundation building. Now, Ling Renai has not only successfully entered the middle stage of foundation building, but also entered the 5th level of foundation building. His attainments in the way of talismans are close to the peak of the 2nd level middle grade. He can draw 5 kinds of 2nd level middle grade talismans and ensure that the success rate reaches more than 30%. When he met Ling Renai this time, Ling Renai also wanted to return to the family. He also expressed to Ling Pengyun that he wanted to follow him back to the family. Although he likes to stay with his parents Ling Luo and Ling Liqin, his parents are in seclusion all year round. Today, his parents are still in seclusion at the critical moment of seclusion, and neither of them came out when Ling Pengyun arrived. A few days ago, he heard his parents say that the next few decades would be their most intensive retreat period. Under such circumstances, the family would have even less time to get together. In addition, he was not originally from the Kanglin Baha'i sect. Except for a few rare people, he was not familiar with the Kanglin Baha'i sect members in this secret realm. This also made him a little bored. After all, when he was in the Ling family, he did not have to go to the outside world to guard. He was a talisman maker and had a lot of free time. Therefore, he made friends with a group of brothers and sisters who grew up together, and a group of elders who were easy to talk to. When he was free, he could chat. The most important thing is that he has been in the secret realm of Bishu Island for decades, which is a long time. If he doesn't return to the clan, it would be a bit wrong. After all, although he is the son of Ling Luo and Ling Liqin, he is also a member of the family. After not returning home for many years, he also missed his grandfather Ling Wanduo who was in the clan. There is no problem with his attainment in the art of talismans. Even without the guidance of his father Lin Luo, he will not encounter any problems before his attainment in the art of talismans reaches the quasi-3rd level. Under various factors, Ling Renai wanted to return to the clan. Do your parents know about this? Although Ling Pengyun was happy that the talisman-making seed cultivated by Ling Renai's family since childhood had the intention of returning home, he did not dare to make a decision for the time being, so he asked first. My parents know. Some time ago, my parents were afraid that I would encounter an accident if I returned to the clan alone, and they planned to return to the clan to see my grandfather. They planned to call a giant and elder from the sect to send me back. But it happened to be a chaotic period in the boundless sea. The sect was afraid that this trip would encounter an accident, so they stopped this matter, and my parents planned to send me back to the clan in the future. Great-grandfather, can you take me with you when you return to the clan? Ling Renai asked expectantly. That's good. It's fine to take you back to the clan. Now is an extraordinary period. I can't come to this secret realm in recent years. Can you leave with me this time? Ling Pengyun said with a smile. Okay, wait for me to pack my things and leave a letter from my parents. Ling Renai's face suddenly lit up. He immediately ran to a stone table nearby, took out a piece of white paper, a pen and ink, and began to write. After a while, the white paper was covered with the words. After Ling Renai carefully wrapped the paper with a communication talisman, he followed Ling Pengyun to leave the secret realm of Bishu Island. Chapter 1039, Cleansing Spiritual Roots. Ling Pengyun was a little worried about being in the Fire Dragon sect branch of Mingxiu Xianzong next to Muiyan Xianzong. After he put Ling Renai in the Shanhaijin clan branch in the Muiyan Sea, he directly used the escape technique to rush to Mingxiu Sea, one of the two major seas under the Mingxiu Xianzong next door. Now the two major territories under the command of Muiyan Xianzong can be said to have been fully invaded by the Holy Demon sect. Not only were the major forces attacked, but also the various markets under the command of this sect were also besieged by the magic cultivators of the Holy Demon sect and the monsters of the Endless Monster Sea. It was difficult for Ling Pengyun to enter those markets and use the teleportation arrays in them to cross the sea. It took him half a month to rush to the Fire Dragon sect branch in the Mingxiu Sea under the command of Mingxiu Xianzong. Now the situation of the Fire Dragon sect branch is still okay. Although there are some monsters or magic cultivators making trouble in the territory from time to time, the number is not large. Those demon cultivators were just a bunch of random people who only dared to attack the low-level spiritual veins under the Fire Dragon sect. The Fire Dragon Island, with the third-level fire veins in the Fire Dragon sect space, had been safe and sound, and no one dared to move. This incident made Ling Pengyun feel at ease. He was mainly afraid that other demon forces would see the Holy Demon sect take the lead in invading the Muiyan Immortal sect, and other demon forces would follow suit. However, it seems that other demon forces are still somewhat rational, or they do not have enough strength and dare not provoke the major righteous forces too much. Maybe for those demon forces, the Holy Demon sect is strong, and the strength of other demon forces cannot compare with the Holy Demon sect. The Holy Demon sect is a fault level strong among the major demon forces in the Boundless Sea. Although it is called the first major demon force, the second and third major demon forces combined may not be the opponent of the Holy Demon sect, and it is not certain whether they can fight evenly. However, just in case, Ling Pengyun still gave some life-saving items to the second-level giant and fire dragon stationed at the Fire Dragon sect branch, in case an accident happened here and it died here. This fire dragon was the spirit beast of Ling Pengyun, the leader of this sect and the fire dharma giant. Then, Ling Pengyun left this place and returned to the Muiyan Sea Area Mountain and Sea Island branch under the command of the Muiyan Immortal sect. However, when he returned here, he learned from his son Ling Qingsha, who was stationed here to practice, that recently, many giant and demon kings and giant and demon cultivators had come to the Shanhai Small Sea area, and even wandered around the Shanhai Island branch. Ling Qingsha wanted to kill them all, but because he was not sure of killing them, he was a little afraid that his identity would be exposed, which would attract the prying of other forces and find out that this was the secret of the Ling branch. For this reason, he could only watch those giant and demons wandering around. Fortunately, those giant and demons did not take action. According to Ling Qingsha's guess, those giant and demons were probably here to investigate how the giant and Zuanbing giant whale and the Saint Demon Sect's demon cultivator who attacked the Shanhai Island branch died. However, they were not sure of the strength of the Shanhai Island branch, so they did not take action. It's good that no one provokes the Shanhai Island branch, so we can relax a little. I just hope it will always be like this. Ling Pengyun heard it and said expectantly. As for the fact that the Muiyan Xianzong's headquarters was attacked by the demons led by the Ghost Demon King of the Saint Demon Sect, who was good at controlling ghosts, he was not too worried. The Muiyan Xianzong was at least a mid-level Yuanying force, with many Yuanyings in charge. The Ghost Demon King of the Saint Demon Sect, who was at the peak of the early Jinden stage, could not break through the mountain gate of this sect. If the Yuanying Demon Kings of the Saint Demon Sect came out in full force, there would be a chance. But under such circumstances, the enemy of this demon sect, the pure Yang Xianzong, including the Firebird Xianzong, would definitely not sit idly by. Then, Ling Pengyun remembered something and asked again. By the way, Qingsha, have you been comprehending the method of replenishing the foundation? Has it been going well recently? Ling Qingsha replied with a look of expectation. Fortunately, I estimate that in another 30 years, I can use this method to cleanse the wood spiritual root in my body. 25 years ago, when Ling Pengyun obtained the superior magical powers Uinigum replenishing root method from Kanglin Bahe sect, he received guidance from Kanglin's Henjin and learned all kinds of secrets about spiritual roots. Take Ling Qingsha for example. He has the qualifications of 3 spiritual roots of water, fire and wood. His qualifications are not suitable for replenishing spiritual roots. Even if he can condense the 5 elements golden pill or the 5 elements Yuanying in the future, it is not his best way. And considering Ling Qiangshi's spiritual root configuration and the fact that the practice he practices is the water and fire practice Yin-Yang Huazhuanjing, his best way is the way of dual spiritual roots of water and fire. However, this path is more dangerous. In the past, Ling Qiangshi used the extra wood spiritual roots as a reconciler, which stabilized the incompatible water and fire spiritual roots and turned them into Ling Qiangshi's greatest help. However, among the methods of making up for the spiritual roots, there is a special method of washing the spiritual roots. During the washing of the spiritual roots, this method can turn the washed spiritual roots into nutrients to nourish the remaining spiritual roots, making the remaining spiritual roots stronger, and retaining some of the original characteristics of the spiritual roots. Ling Qiangshi currently intends to use this method to wash the wood attribute spiritual roots on his body, leaving only the water and fire spiritual roots, and at the same time relying on the power of the wood spiritual roots to truly blend the water and fire spiritual roots, unlike in the past, when the wood spiritual roots were used as a middleman. Once this is accomplished, according to Ling Qiangshi's estimation, his cultivation speed will be at least 30% faster, and the power of his life-defining magic and life-defining magic treasures attached to the Yin-Yang Sutra will also be stronger. It is also worth mentioning that the requirements for washing the spiritual roots are not as many as those for replenishing the spiritual roots. It only needs to mobilize the power of the remaining spiritual roots with secret methods to wash the extra spiritual roots. However, this process will be more painful, which is also the only disadvantage. The pain is the pain that comes from the bone marrow. Even Ling Qiangshi can't bear it for long, which also greatly increases the time required for Ling Qiangshi to practice this method. Ling Pengyun nodded with satisfaction after hearing this. The speed of washing the spiritual roots is not slow. Keep working hard. However, if we calculate the time, in about 30 years, it will be the time when the 100-year monster chaos in the northern wilderness Zeuxin world will begin again. As soon as these words came out, both Ling Pengyun himself and Ling Qiangshi frowned. Although the Black Dragon Lake has not really appeared in the world yet, judging from the last time the dragon in the Black Dragon Lake stirred up the situation, the righteous human race leaders in the northern wilderness Zeuxin world have not taken any special actions yet. I am afraid they also know that they cannot interfere with the appearance of the Black Dragon Lake. At least it is impossible to suppress the Black Dragon Lake dragon clan for nearly 10,000 years as in the past, so that the dragons of this clan dare not come out. Under this situation, even if the Black Dragon Lake dragon clan will not really appear in the world in a short period of time, some dragons from the Black Dragon Lake will definitely participate in the future monster rebellion. And this will only become more and more dangerous for the Ling family in the northern wilderness immortal cultivation world. Not to mention, there is also a time bomb like the Lord of the Black Dragon Lake. After a long silence, Ling Pengyun broke the calm and he also said, "Let's go to retreat together, don't waste time. Time waits for no one." After saying that, he returned to the Qingshi Mountain on the Qingshi Island with a third-level spiritual vein to retreat and perfect the Lingxiao 5 Elements treasure book. Ling Qiangshi followed closely and entered another cave in the mountain. Chapter 1040 The Secret of the End of the Chaos in the Boundless Sea. Time flies. Before we know it, the demon chaos in the Boundless Sea has lasted for 9 years. During these 9 years, the Qingshi Island branch was located in the territory of the Muing Immortal sect, which was in chaos. There were many mortals under the command of this branch, which also attracted some giant demons. However, these demons were repeatedly killed by Ling Pengyun, and gradually no demon dared to come to the Qingshi Small Sea under the command of the Qingshi Island branch. And the giant demon speculated that this matter was done by the powerful guardian spirit beast Fenggyun Peng of the Qingshi Jin branch, and this matter gradually spread to the outside world. After all, the number of mortals under the command of the Qingshi Small Sea, where the Qingshi Island branch is located, is actually only hundreds of thousands, which can only be regarded as barely passing the giant forces. For those giant demons, it is not worth it to sacrifice their lives for hundreds of thousands of mortals. This also gave the Qingshi Island branch, including its two major affiliated forces, the Baiyunjiu family, and the Hoyo Lin family, which suffered heavy losses, a chance to breathe. The Fire Dragon sect, which is under the command of the Mingshu Immortal sect next to the Muing Immortal sect, is still as peaceful as before. In recent years, although one or two giant monsters have come with their monsters, they were all repelled by the giant fire dragon stationed in this sect. 9 years later, Ling Pengyun, who is in seclusion in the mountain deep in the sea, has successfully perfected the method of operating the giant initial stage in the Lingxiao 5 Elements treasure book and has entered the method of deducing the cultivation and operation of the giant in middle stage. He also successfully comprehended the method of the superior magical power of the 5 Elements pure Yang mysterious thunder 3 years ago. At that time, Ling Pengyun also went out to the mountains and seas to find 2 giant and middle stage monster kings in the outside world to practice. Under the attack of the 5 Elements pure Yang mysterious thunder, the 2 monsters died, and even the mysterious thunder still had most of its strength left. It was just a pity that even though the Muiyan Sea was now invaded by some demon cultivators of the Holy Demon Sect and the coordinated demon tribe, there were not many demons in the late Jiandan period, and Ling Pengyun could not find a good sandbag to test the true power of the 5 Elements pure Yang mysterious thunder. He could only barely infer that the power of the 5 Elements pure Yang mysterious thunder was indeed strong enough to kill a cultivator in the pseudo-infant realm. At least, Ling Pengyun himself was comparable to the strength of the pseudo-infant realm, and he was not sure he could withstand this attack. After a while, the outside world also heard the news that the chaos was about to end, because the countless demon tribes in the sea that follow the demon cultivators of the Holy Demon Sect to invade the Muiyan Sea also retreated like a tide. Not long after that, the front lines of the battles between the demon tribes and the righteous path in various places also stopped. The originally chaotic Wubian Sea world also returned to peace in a short period of time. And the Wubian Sea cultivators, who dared to participate in some life and death battles, also began to enjoy this hard-earned tranquility. In addition, according to some well-informed independent cultivators, the Muiyan Immortal Sect lost at least hundreds of thousands of cultivators in this matter because of the large number of independent cultivators and low-level forces under its command to resist the invasion of the sea monsters, and the fact that the Holy Demon Sect and the monsters invaded the hinterland of the sect to burn, kill and loot. At least 50% of the powerful Jiandan forces under the sect were also attacked during this period, resulting in heavy losses for those Jiandan forces. A few Jiandan forces and a large number of foundation-building forces disappeared from then on. It is even rumored that a few months before the end of this chaos, the Holy Demon Sect sent a number of nascent soul demon lords to cooperate with the nascent soul realm Zuanbing Giant Whale of the Muiyan Immortal Sect's enemy Zuanbing Giant Whale clan to attack the front line of the Muiyan Immortal Sect's Whale Sea, intending to kill the Muiyan Immortal Sect's leader Qingshi Lao's Henjin who was sitting there. Even though the old True Lord Qingyuan was very powerful and had reached the peak of the middle stage of the nascent soul, and the long-lost True Lord Mu Long suddenly appeared in the world, the two of them were still unable to resist the joint attack of the group of demons and monsters. If it weren't for the old True Lord Qingyuan, who used some disparate techniques and time to repel those demons and monsters, the wrathful Whale Sea would have been lost, and countless mortals and hundreds of thousands of cultivators stationed there would have died tragically. But for this, the old True Lord Qingyuan's lifespan, which was already short, was further reduced, and he would not have much life left in the future. Such losses, big and small, can be said to have seriously hurt the vitality of the Muiyuan Xian sect. The Muiyuan Xian sect has 3 nascent souls, including the sect master Qingyuan, who is at the peak of the middle stage of the nascent soul. Muiyuan's Henjin is a person who has only entered the nascent soul in the past few hundred years, and has extremely high potential. It has only been 200 or 300 years since he entered the nascent soul, and he has reached the peak of the early stage of the nascent soul. The Muling's Henjin rarely appeared in the world before. It is said that he is a hard-working person. Some people also say that this Henjin is not on the Muiyan Xianzong all year round. According to the current situation, the Muiyan's Henjin, who is said to have the strongest potential in this sect, has been stationed at the Muiyan Xianzong station during this war and has not been injured. His cultivation has also reached the peak of the early nascent soul stage. In the future, this Henjin should be able to take up the responsibility. I just don't know how long the Qingshi Lao's Henjin of this sect can hold on. Ling Pengyun stood on the top of Qingshi Mountain, looking in the direction of Muiyan Xianzong, and sighed. Next to him stood the Falstan Realm Supreme Elder of the local branch, Ling Pengyun, and his son Ling Chengsha. Ling Pengyun, who had followed the Muiyan Xianzong cultivators to the front line to garrison in the Whale Sea, had just returned. 10 years ago, the cultivators of the Jin family branch, Baiyunjiu family, and Hoyo Lin family, who followed him to the front line to garrison in the Whale Sea, also lost nearly 30% due to the fierce fighting on the front line. However, the benefits gained by the participating cultivators were not small, and the major forces could barely accept it. Ling Pengyun, the fake elixir cultivator, even killed a golden elixir demon king in this battle, showing his impressive strength. Ling Pengyun also learned the news from the front line from Ling Pengyun. Since the chaos here has been quelled, the local branch and the fire dragon sect branch are also safe and sound. I will return to the family to guard. After all, there is the unstable factor of Black Dragon Lake there. Pengyun, you should worry more about this branch. Qingshi, you should practice with peace of mind and improve your cultivation as soon as possible. Ling Pengyun turned his head to look at Ling Qingshi and Ling Pengyun beside him, and after a few simple instructions, he turned into a white shadow and left a mountain. Ling Qingshi and Ling Pengyun kept watching Ling Pengyun for a while, and then returned to their respective caves in the mountain with worries in their hearts. Ling Pengyun spent several months leaving the Wubianhe Xiuxin realm and entering the Bihong Xiuxin realm. He went straight to the family land and found the elder Ling Pengyun, who was in charge of the family affairs. He asked about the family information in the 10 years since he left. He was relieved to know that nothing major had happened in the family in the past 10 years. In addition, he also learned a surprise from the elder Ling Pengyun. Immediately, he returned to his own place of cultivation, the Ice and Snow Valley, in the Ice and Snow Forest. He also met his old father Ling Xiaoshan, who brought him a surprise. At this moment, Ling Xiaoshan's face was full of red, and his hair, which had been white, had now become extremely black, and the wrinkles on his face had disappeared. He was like a man who had just entered his 30s. Moreover, his aura had reached the realm of Jade, which was a huge change from 10 years ago. Congratulations, Dad, on entering the Jade Avenue. In the future, Dad will definitely be a long-lasting avenue. Ling Pengyun's face was immediately filled with joy, and he also congratulated his old father Ling Xiaoshan, who came to greet him. Chapter 1041. Old Father Ling Xiaoshan enters the Golden Core. I don't ask for the longevity of the great Dao, but it is my blessing to be able to enter this realm. Ling Xiaoshan's words were rather depressing, but in fact they were not. He was full of joy and excitement when he said this. According to his qualifications, it was uncertain whether he could enter the realm of perfect key training in this life. He had never dared to think about entering the realm of golden elixir before. Therefore, he was actually very satisfied with his current realm. Then, Ling Xiaoshan also talked about his experience of entering the golden elixir in detail. According to Ling Xiaoshan, 5 years ago, he felt that his realm had become extremely smooth and had reached the limit of what he could refine, so he told his daughter-in-law Yan Xiaoyi about this. Yan Xiaoyi also took her old father Ling Xiaoshan to the Taiyan Valley in the Bayun Mountains, and at the same time, she handed over 4 ordinary golden elixir spiritual objects that her husband Ling Pengyun had prepared long ago, which would not conflict with each other, to Ling Xiaoshan. Because the 4 ordinary golden elixir spiritual objects were powerful, when they were gathered together, they increased Ling Xiaoshan's success rate of condensing the golden elixir by 40%. In addition, Ling Xiaoshan had refined a yin-yang primordial energy in his early years, which improved his meridians and spiritual consciousness, and also increased his success rate by half. Under various factors, his success rate in attacking the golden elixir was as high as 45%. Ling Xiaoshan also relied on such a high success rate, which was why he was lucky enough to condense a lower-level golden elixir, and with the help of the thunder-inducing destruction formation in the Cloud Valley, he avoided the thunder and entered the golden elixir realm. Although he spent 4 golden elixir spiritual objects worth 1.3 or 400,000 spiritual stones to assist his old father Ling Xiaoshan, Ling Pengyun still felt it was worth it. After all, if Ling Xiaoshan could enter the golden elixir, it meant that his lifespan would increase to 500, which would give him an extra 300 years of life. This lifespan was enough time for Ling Pengyun to rely on the Yin-Yang Taichu Sutra to condense a Yin-Yang primordial essence for him, helping him have the opportunity to ascend to the Great Road. There were also unlimited possibilities in his future. For this reason, Ling Pengyun was even happier, and he also planned to hold a banquet for his father Ling Xiaoshan and hold a golden elixir ceremony to celebrate. Ling Xiaoshan had been in the Jade realm for 5 years, but he had not organized the Jade ceremony, just to wait for his son Ling Pengyun to return. Now that Ling Pengyun had returned and offered to hold the Jade ceremony, Ling Xiaoshan happily agreed. His mother, Yankee Uyan, had reached the perfect state of foundation building more than 10 years ago, but she still felt that her realm was not perfect, so she had not tried to break through to the Jade realm, but planned to wait. According to her estimate, she would be able to polish her realm in another 5 years. Lingxiao did the same in his early years. It took him even longer to reach the perfect state of foundation building. More than 20 years ago, he had reached the perfect state of foundation building, and in recent years, he had been polishing his realm. It was precisely because of Lingxiao's emphasis and prudent approach that he was pushed to enter the Jinden realm. Ling Pengyun also agreed with this, and did not urge his mother to try to break through to the Jinden realm as soon as possible, but to take things slowly. After all, Mother Yang Qiuyan's lifespan is not long. If she fails, she will be severely injured, and her remaining lifespan will not be enough for her to heal. Therefore, she only has one chance to attack the golden elixir. Of course, Ling Pengyun has already prepared 4 ordinary golden elixir spiritual objects for his mother Yang Qiuyan. These spiritual objects were collected from 3 places, Bihong, Wubianhao and Hongzhou, with countless efforts and time in his early years. Most of the golden elixir spiritual objects in the world of immortal cultivation have conflicting effects. It is not easy to collect 4 golden elixir spiritual objects that do not conflict with each other. 3 months passed in a flash. Lingxiao's golden elixir ceremony was also held in the Ling clan's territory. All the big and small forces in the whole Yan state sent people to come, and tens of thousands of cultivators also gathered in a banquet outside the Ling clan's territory. No force dared to offend Lingxiao, the new golden elixir of the Ling clan. Although Lingxiao did not have any impressive achievements in the past, his strength alone was not very famous in the Ling clan. But Lingxiao is the father of Ling Pengyun, the strongest man in Yan state. Just talking about this matter, Lingxiao's name has long been spread throughout Yan state and even in several surrounding immortal cultivation powers. Even after the Ling family's upper sect Yuanying power Xianxing sect in Yan state learned about this, they specially sent Jinden cultivators to travel a long distance to Lingxiao's Jinden grand ceremony and sent a large formation with formation tools and a grade of up to the 3rd grade lower grade as a gift. Such gifts also made Lingxiao, who hosted the Jinden grand ceremony, and even Ling Pengyun, as well as the entire Ling family, attach great importance to it. It also attracted the envy of countless Yan state cultivators. After all, the 3rd grade lower grade formation with formation tools is composed of a 3rd grade lower grade magic weapon plus a 3rd grade lower grade formation. Moreover, the formation tool needs to be forged with a special method and engraved with formation patterns on it before it can be built. It is also because of this that the power of the formation with formation tools is several times stronger than that of ordinary formations. And a formation with such a formation device is worth at least 600,000 or 700,000 spiritual stones on the market. In the thousands of years since the founding of the Yan state, no one has ever presented such a valuable gift to others at their golden elixir ceremony. Not to mention having the Xianxing sect, the upper sect, personally send someone to deliver such a valuable gift. I'm afraid that the Ling family has already become a favorite in the eyes of the Xianxing sect. In the future, the Ling family will probably fly up to the tree and become a phoenix. You, a cultivator from a certain country, don't know shit. The Ling family's golden elixir combat power, including the demon corpse, is more than 20. It doesn't need to rely on the Xianxing sect, which is already an unattainable peak. Do you still need to rely on the Xianxing sect? In my opinion, I guess the Xianxing sect sent such a heavy gift this time, and it has already regarded the Ling family as a force of the same level or a helper, and wants to get closer to them. What you said seems to be somewhat possible. After all, the Ling family has a lot of golden elixirs, but they just lack Yuanying's engine. Otherwise, in terms of the number of golden elixir combat power, it is not much less than that of the Xianxing sect. This family is also enough to be considered a pseudo-infant realm force. Just as the cultivators participating in the ceremony were discussing, another escape light that only golden elixir cultivators can transform into came from the distant sky. A sound that resounded through the clouds and was full of energy also came over. Yuan Hui, the 3rd disciple of Heian immortal sex Heian's Henjin, has come with the intention of his master to congratulate fellow Taoist Lingxiao on his successful entry into the Golden Core realm. The tens of thousands of visitors sent by the Xianxing sect and the Ling family cultivators, who were originally shocked by the news, took a deep breath when they heard it. Although Yuan Hui's Henrin's cultivation level was only at the Golden Core realm, he had already reached the Golden Core perfection realm 100 years ago, and was a veritable nascent soul seedling of Heian Immortal Sect. The most important thing was the sect he came from, Heian Immortal Sect, and his master, Heian Pengyun. Heian Immortal Sect was one of the 3 immortal sects in the Northern Wilderness Immortal Cultivation world with many nascent souls. It was extremely powerful and was the real ruler of the righteous path in the Northern Wilderness Immortal Cultivation world. The progress of the righteous path in the entire Northern Wilderness Immortal Cultivation world was traced by this sect. Heian Pengyun was the sect master, with tremendous strength. It was said that this Pengyun's cultivation level was as high as the middle stage of the nascent soul. In terms of strength alone, the strength of this Heian Pengyun can be ranked among the top 3 in the righteous way of the Northern Wilderness Immortal Cultivation world. And it is rare for Yuan Hui to be a disciple of such a big figure in the past. I didn't expect that the Ling family would have such a big face that the Heian Immortal Sect sent such a big figure to congratulate. I remember that the last giant force that the Heian Immortal Sect paid attention to was the Lingxiao Academy, which was only a giant force thousands of years ago. Could it be that the Heian Immortal Sect is? I lost it. It is really possible. This Ling family can be called a pseudo-infant force. The strongest person in this family, Ling Pengyun, is not very old, but his power is ridiculously strong. In the future, it is possible that he can lead the Ling family to become the next Lingxiao Academy. For a while, the guests at the banquet were talking about it again. Chapter 1042. The 3 great immortal sects arrive together. At this moment, beside the giant ceremony banquet, there is a reception hall specially for entertaining the major giant forces or the people of the foundation building forces with good relations. The family of Lingfu Patriarch, who has a very good relationship with the Ling family, are all in a reception hall here. And the one who entertained them is naturally Ling Pengyun's family. Lingxiao, the host of this giant ceremony, is also here. After all, the 2 sides are relatives. Lingfu Patriarch's son married Ling Pengyun's cousin Yang Xiling. His grandson Wu Hong, who has a different spiritual root, has to call Ling Pengyun uncle when he sees him. Under this circumstance, strictly speaking, Lingfu Patriarch and Ling Pengyun's father Lingxiao are even people of the same generation according to seniority. At this moment, Ling Pengyun's family and Lingfu Patriarch's family were also alarmed by the outside world. Ling Pengyun, who was chatting with his brother-in-law Wu Yan, couldn't help but show a touch of surprise on his face. He could understand that the Xiangxing sect had sent someone to congratulate his father on his attainment of the Golden Core stage. After all, the Xiangxing sect was the Ling family's upper sect, and the 2 forces often interacted with each other. However, the family had not had much contact with the Heian Immortal Sect, which had many nascent souls. Logically, the family should not have had any contact with such a force. However, the person who came from the Heian Immortal Sect this time was, after all, the 3rd disciple of the Heian Immortal Sect's leader, Heian Pengyun, so he could not be ignored. Immediately, Ling Pengyun, his wife Yan Sidai, who was also chatting with the Lingfu Patriarch's family, his father Lingxiao, and his mother Yang Qiuyan, said goodbye to the Lingfu Patriarch's family and left the reception hall together. Then he rose into the air to welcome the arrival of Yuan Hui, the 3rd disciple of the Heian Immortal Sect. Soon, the 2 sides met in the sky. The light transformed by Yuan Hui also stopped, revealing a middle-aged man in a blue robe with an ordinary face but who looked extremely stable. Yuan Hui's eyes were fixed on Ling Pengyun, and there was a flash of surprise between his eyebrows. He exclaimed at Ling Pengyun as if he had known Ling Pengyun for a long time. "Fellow Taoist Pengyun, you are indeed a young and promising person. Even with my divine sense, I can hardly see your cultivation. I'm afraid your divine sense is not weaker than mine. It seems that the rumors in the outside world that you have already reached the realm of Golden Core perfection are true. I'm sorry," Ling Pengyun said lightly. "I really don't deserve your words. Concealing your cultivation is just a secret method. It can't be put on the stage. Don't take the outside world's lies seriously." Yuan Hui smiled and didn't take Ling Pengyun's words seriously. In his heart, he already regarded Ling Pengyun as a cultivator of the same realm, and took the lead in bowing to him. "I haven't greeted fellow Taoist Pengyun and the others yet. I'm sorry. My name is Yuan Hui. I'm honored to meet all the fellow Taoists of the Ling family." After saying that, he took out a gift box from his storage bag, handed it to Lingxiao, and bowed. This is a gift from our sect to fellow Taoist Lingxiao for his entry into the Golden Core stage. Please accept it." Lingxiao was a little unsure when he heard this, and he also looked at his son Ling Pengyun. He was not stupid, so he naturally guessed that the visitor from Heian Xianzong was probably related to his son Ling Pengyun. Otherwise, the Ling family had held several ceremonies for Golden Core cultivators in the past 100 years, and Heian Xianzong would not have come only now. When he saw Ling Pengyun nod, Lingxiao felt relieved to accept the gift box. He was also experienced in treating people, so he bowed and thanked politely. "It is my honor that you are here. I am grateful that you have come and sent this gift to your clan." Yuan Hua heard these humble words, and his smile grew a little more. His words became more friendly, and he said, "Dao Xiao, you are really polite. May I ask for a glass of wedding wine?" Lingxiao said with a smile. "Of course." Then, Lingxiao and Ling Pengyun's family welcomed Yuan Hua into an empty reception hall. Although there was no one in the reception hall, good food and good wine had been prepared, specially for Yuan Hua, a giant cultivator. And the gift that Lingxiao had just received was handed over to the elder Ling Pengyun, who was responsible for welcoming guests and registering gifts. The elder Ling Pengyun took the gift box, opened it, and checked the contents. When he saw 10 third-grade top-grade cultivation pills in it, Ling Pengyun couldn't help but be surprised. The third-grade top-grade cultivation elixir is extremely rare on the market. It has not appeared in the entire Yan Kingdom for nearly 1,000 years. After all, there is no third-grade top-grade alchemist in the entire Yan Kingdom. The most powerful alchemist in Yan Kingdom, Yao Wang's Henren, is still at the third-grade middle-grade level. Even though the Ling family has a wide network of contacts, there are not many such stocks in the family. And 10 third-grade top-grade spiritual talismans are worth at least 100,000 spiritual stones, which is also a generous gift. Although it is not as good as the formation gift from the Xiangxing sect, it is much more valuable than the gifts sent by other giant forces or foundation-building forces, enough to rank second among many gifts. After a long while, Ling Pengyun finally came to his senses. He also performed the sound enhancement technique and read aloud. The third disciple of Heian Xianzong, fellow Taoist Yuan Hua, has sent 10 third-level top-grade cultivation pills on behalf of Heian Xianzong. This voice spread over hundreds of feet around, and tens of thousands of visitors who came to the Lingxiao Golden Pill ceremony heard this, and many of them were even more surprised. But before they could calm down, they were shocked by two more things. The fifth disciple of Fu Aiyan Xianzong's sect master Fu Aiyan Xianzong, Fu Chen, has come to congratulate fellow Taoist Lingxiao on entering the Golden Pill realm. The eldest disciple of Hanyu Xiangong's palace master Hanyu Xianzong, Lu Wuxi, has come to congratulate fellow Taoist Lingxiao on entering the Golden Pill realm. Then, two beams of light flew over from a distance, attracting the attention of countless guests at the banquet. People from the three major immortal sects are all here. The Ling family is really proud of this. Damn. Maybe the three major immortal sects really think highly of the Ling family. After a few hundred years, the Ling family may really become the next lower-level Yuanying force, Yuanbao Academy. It is said that many female cultivators of the Ling family have recently recruited sons-in-law. I have to try to see if I can be selected. If I can be selected, I will definitely be prosperous and my descendants will also enjoy happiness. Outside the clan land. Beside the giant banquet, in a reception hall in the reception hall group. Ling Pengyun, Yan Sidai, Lingxiao and Yang Qiuyan, who had just sat at the wine table for a while, looked at each other and fell into deep thought. It would be fine if the Heian immortal sect sent people to congratulate, but the other two immortal sects that also have many Yuanyings also sent people to come. This is an extraordinary matter. In total, people from the three major immortal sects in the northern wilderness immortal cultivation world are all here. Chapter 1043, Unexpected Support. After a while, the four of them came back to their senses, and Ling Pengyun also said to the distinguished guest Yuan Hua's Henren who was entertaining them together. Dao Yuan Hua, we will go to greet the other two Taoists from the immortal sects. Please wait for a moment, don't be offended. Yuan Hua's Henren from the Heian immortal sect smiled and said. No problem, let's go together. I haven't seen the other two Taoists for some time. Ling Pengyun nodded, and the group left the table and ascended into the sky. After waiting for a while, the other two people from the immortal sect also showed up. The two people, one man and one woman, were both in the realm of gold and elixir perfection. The male cultivator was full of bookish aura, and this person was Fu Chen, the fifth disciple of Fu Yun Zhenjin, the leader of Fu Yun Immortal Sect. The beautiful young female cultivator with an iceberg-like temperament and skin like mutton fat jade was Luo Zai, the eldest disciple of the palace master of Hanyu Immortal Palace. Brother Yuan Hua, you are here too. The Taoist master Fu Chen was a little surprised to see Yuan Hua following Ling Pengyun and the others to greet them, but he looked at Ling Pengyun again, and he understood a little more, so he said with a smile. I arrived before you, but why did the two Taoist friends come together? Yuan Hua smiled mysteriously, looking at Fu Chen and said with a smile. It's just a coincidence. Fu Chen looked a little flustered, and unconsciously glanced at Luo Zai beside him, and then explained. Then, he changed the subject and looked at Ling Pengyun and the others. It's all because of Brother Yuan Hua interrupting, I almost forgot the main business. I am Fu Chen, meet all the Taoist friends of the Ling family. This is the gift my sect asked me to send. Luo Zai from the Hanyu Fairy Palace on the side was still as cold as an iceberg, as if she didn't know about the joke between Yuan Hua and Taoist Master Fu Chen. She took out the gift from her storage bag and handed it to Ling Xiaoshan, congratulated him briefly, and then said nothing more. I am Luoxi from Hanyu Palace. Ling Pengyun and the others were also quite perceptive and immediately saw the relationship between the two people who came together, Fu Chen from Fuyan Sect and Luoxi from Hanyu Palace. Seeing that the atmosphere was gradually becoming awkward and that Yuan Hua and Fu Chen and Luoxi seemed to have a decent relationship, Ling Pengyun welcomed everyone into the reception hall next to the banquet and entertained them. The gifts brought by the two disciples from Fuyan Sect and Hanyu Palace were also very heavy, basically worth about 100,000 spiritual stones. The former sent 3 third-grade top-grade spiritual talismans, and the latter sent 5 third-grade top-grade ice-attributed ice jade fruits that were as effective as the same grade cultivation elixirs. The gifts they sent were basically related to the 100 arts that their respective forces were good at. Heian Sect was good at refining elixirs, so the gift they sent was elixirs. Fuyan Sect was good at spiritual talismans, so they sent spiritual talismans. Hanyu Immortal Palace is good at spiritual plants. The palace is located in an icy place. This palace mainly practices ice and water attribute skills, so this palace also grows a lot of ice attribute spiritual fruits. For this reason, this palace also sent ice attribute spiritual fruits. After that, not long after, the lower-level Yin-Yang forces of the Northern Wilderness Cultivation World, the Maple Leaf Li family, and the Lingxiao Academy also sent people to come. So far, the 3 major immortal sects and the 3 lower-level Yin-Yang forces in the Northern Wilderness Cultivation World have all arrived. Such things also made Ling Xiaoshan's Golden Pill ceremony more grand and festive. In order to take care of these people from the big forces, Ling Pengyun's family brought them all to a hall to accompany them. These people from the big Yin-Yang forces are all people who can let go of their status, which also makes this banquet more joyful. Soon, all the dishes on the table were eaten. The visitors from the 3 major sects also gave a look to the visitors sent by the 3 ordinary Yin-Yang forces, Shiangxing Sect, Maple Leaf Li family, and Lingxiao Academy. The people from the 3 ordinary Yin-Yang forces also understood immediately. Although they all came from Yin-Yang forces, they did not dare to offend the people from the 3 major sects. They also understood the situation and left the wine table and left the reception hall on the pretext of planning to stroll around the Ling family. Seeing this, Ling Xiaoshan, Yan Sidai, and Yang Qiuyan also guessed something, and they also left the wine table with an excuse. In the end, only Ling Pengyun, Yuan Hua from Heian Sect, Fu Chen from Fuyan Sect, and Luo Zai from Hanyu Palace were left in the reception hall. Dao, I'll make it short and talk to you about some serious matters on behalf of the other 2 Daois. Now the demon race Black Dragon Lake in my Northern Wilderness Immortal Cultivation realm is about to appear in the world. This matter concerns the righteous path of our entire Northern Wilderness Immortal Cultivation realm, and no one can escape it. Dao is still in the Northern Wilderness Immortal Cultivation realm at this time. I think he is unwilling to give up the many spiritual veins of the nobles in this area of immortal cultivation. The 3 major immortal sects behind us intend to allow the nobles to develop as soon as possible. If Dao has the opportunity to impact the nascent soul in the future, but has no formation or magic weapon to resist the nascent soul tribulation thunder, you can come to our sect. Our sect can lend you the formation free of charge to help you survive the nascent soul tribulation thunder. Also, our three sects can find Daoyao an ordinary level nascent soul spiritual object, but Daoyao must also purchase it at the normal price. An ordinary level nascent soul spiritual object has a premium on the market, about 3.5 million spirit stones. If Daoyao intends to buy it, you should be prepared in advance. The three major immortal sects behind us only charge spirit stones, not spirit objects. Of course, if the spiritual item you offer reaches the 4th level, our three major immortal sects can also accept it as a discount. But in the future, if you can successfully enter the nascent soul stage with the help of one of our three major immortal sects, you and your family will also need to become a subsidiary of that force and do 3 reasonable things for that force. If you don't want to, you can refuse at that time. But when facing the demons, you and the nobles must stand on the side of our righteous path. Ling Pengyun heard this, and his heart was like a storm. Is this true? Although he thought that the three major immortal sects, which all had many nascent souls, had other purposes. But he didn't expect that the three major immortal sects sent people to help him enter the nascent soul stage. And the support benefits given by the three major immortal sects are also extraordinary. At the same time, it is also what Ling Pengyun desires the most. First of all, the 4th level formation that can resist the thunder is Ling Pengyun's headache. Although the Kanglan Baha'i sect has a 4th level formation that can resist the nascent soul tribulation thunder, only the 4th level intermediate grade lightning inducing and deliverance saving formation arranged in the Potten Peak can resist the tribulation thunder, and the Holy Demon sect is keeping a close eye on this sect. If Ling Pengyun borrows the sect's formation to resist the tribulation thunder in the future, he will inevitably encounter obstacles from the Holy Demon sect. Therefore, Ling Pengyun also planned that if he wanted to break through the nascent soul in the future, he would go to the Hangdao League in the Hongzhou realm to borrow the formation from Huo Lingxi, just like when he assisted the Longyunjiao king in the White Shadow secret realm to break through the nascent soul. Chapter 1044, Condensing Veins and Souls. Although it was a bit unsafe, it was a helpless move. And the conditions of the nascent soul spirit object were a godsend for Ling Pengyun. Nascent soul spirit objects were extremely rare, even in the prosperous Hongzhou. Even if some big forces had extra nascent soul spirit objects, they would not usually sell them for spirit stones, but would mostly be placed at some high-level trading fairs for barter. Under such circumstances, it was rare that the three major immortal sects were willing to let Ling Pengyun buy an ordinary nascent soul spirit object with spirit stones. As for the requirements put forward by the three major immortal sects to become a vassal force, in Ling Pengyun's opinion, the requirements were not high. After all, the entire Northern Wilderness Immortal Cultivation world was actually considered to be the three major immortal sects. As long as you were in the Northern Wilderness Immortal Cultivation world, you had to listen to the three major immortal sects. Whether you became a vassal or not was actually the same. Following the three major immortal sects to fight against the demon race and the devil was not a requirement. He and the Ling family had always been like this. Naturally it is true. Yuan Hua said with a smile. Thanks to the great attention from the immortal sects behind you three, I will accept this. I wonder if the immortal sects behind you three have the 9 heavens mysterious key or the earth spirit. Ling Pengyun also asked with some excitement. I don't know. I can hardly get such things for the nascent soul on weekdays. This time my master asked me to come here just to pass on the message. When the Yuan Hozhenren of the Heian immortal sect, who had reached the perfect golden core, heard that Ling Pengyun wanted the 9 heavens mysterious key and the earth spirit, his expression suddenly changed. However, he did not guess that Ling Pengyun wanted to use those two things to try to condense the 5 elements nascent soul in the future. After all, to condense the 5 elements nascent soul, one must condense the 5 elements golden core, and it is extremely difficult to condense such a golden core. Yuan Hozhenren just thought that Ling Pengyun mastered the special method that could use the power of the 9 heavens mysterious key and the earth spirit to increase the probability of entering the nascent soul. When these two spiritual objects are used in conjunction with some special methods, in addition to helping cultivators condense the 5 elements Yin-Yang, the effects of these two objects can also enhance each other a lot. Taking them at the same time can increase the number of cultivators entering the Yin-Yang by about 25% or 30%. Fu Chen's Henren of Fu Ian Xianzong and Luo Zai of Hanayu Xiangong also thought of this, but they also said that they did not know whether the two objects, Jiushin Zuanqi and Daddy Jingpo, were available in their sects. However, the three of them also said that after returning to the sect, they would ask their respective sects to see if they had the 2 Yin-Yang spiritual objects. After all, these 2 objects are actually just ordinary level Yin-Yang spiritual objects, within the agreed conditions. Seeing this, Ling Pengyun also had a little more expectation in his heart. According to his plan, he intended to use the 5 elements golden pill, and then use the special method to use the special power of the Yin-Yang spiritual objects Jiushin Zuanqi and Dadi Jingpo to try to condense the 5 elements Yin-Yang. However, these 2 objects are particularly precious. Jiushin Zuanqi needs to be above the 9th heaven before it can be gathered using special methods. The 9 heavens are above the 9 layers of powerful Gangfang in the sky, and only the strong ones in the late Yin-Yang stage can enter it. Although it is easier to obtain the earth spirit than the 9 heavens mysterious energy, you only need to use a special formation to slowly gather countless earth veins to condense the spirit, but it takes a very long time. 100 years ago, Ling Pengyun also returned to the Kanglan Bahe secret realm and specifically asked his master, Bishu Zhenjin, whether the sect had these 2 items, but was told that they did not. At the same time, Bishu Zhenjin said that he currently had no ability to get these 2 Yin-Yang spiritual objects. After all, the minimum requirement for obtaining the 9 heavens mysterious energy is the late Yin-Yang stage, and Bishu Zhenjin has just entered the Yin-Yang stage not long ago. The Kanglan Bahe sect has no land boundary in the outside world, only the secret realm. The earth veins in the secret realm are the foundation for stabilizing the secret realm. Once the earth veins in the secret realm are affected, the entire secret realm may collapse. This makes the earth veins in the secret realm immovable, and it is naturally difficult to arrange formations to condense the earth spirit. These 2 items are rarely seen in the outside world, and they cannot be purchased even if one wants to. This has made Ling Pengyun regretful for these years. However, Kanglan's Henjin borrowed Ling Pengyun a 4th level middle grade formation Enmei Jupo Dazhan that can condense the earth spirit in his early years. Now, this formation has been arranged by Ling Pengyun in the Lingxiao Mountains, where the Ling family is located. According to the formation spirit of the formation, the earth veins in the Lingxiao Mountains are quite rich, which can increase the speed of condensing the earth spirit by about 30%. The formation is of high grade, which can also increase the speed by about 30%, which can increase the speed by about 60%. But even so, the formation will take a full 600 or 700 years to condense an earth spirit. This time is extremely long, more than the entire lifespan of an ordinary dantian cultivator. Even if Ling Pengyun does not enter the dantian stage, he may not be able to wait for the earth spirit in this life. That is why Ling Pengyun wants to get the 9 heavens mysterious key, or the earth spirit from the 3 major immortal sects. It is also worth mentioning that Kanglan's Henjin lent a condensed vein essence formation to Ling Pengyun 100 years ago, and he also had a request. The essence of the earth spirit condensed by this formation must be divided in half by the 2 parties. The sect provides the formation and the Ling family provides the earth. Of course, the first earth spirit essence can belong to the Ling family, but the second essence must belong to the sect, and so on. At this moment, the cultivators of the 3 major immortal sects, such as Yuan Hozhenren, also saw the change in Ling Pengyun's expression. They all said that they would report Ling Pengyun's needs to their respective Yin-Yang masters, and as long as there was news, they would inform Ling Pengyun. Hearing this, Ling Pengyun also thanked the cultivators of the 3 major immortal sects, such as Yuan Hozhenren. Then, everyone chatted for a few more words, and Yuan Hozhenren and the other 3 knew that their purpose had been achieved, so they left first. Ling Pengyun did not try to keep him, but just sent him off with courtesy. Visitors from the 3 major forces of the Northern Wilderness Cultivation World, the Xiangxing sect, the Fengaligia, and the Lingbao Academy, stayed until 3 days later, when Ling Xiaoshin's Golden Core banquet ended. The 3 parties did not have much purpose, but just came to the Ling family to walk around. During this period, Ling Xiaoshin received countless spiritual objects through this Golden Core ceremony. According to statistics, the value of at least 1 million spiritual stones, but the gifts sent by the 3 major immortal sects and the 3 major lower-level Yin-Yang forces accounted for 80% of the total. The gifts sent by the other major Yan state forces or the surrounding major cultivation powers were not of high value, but were large in number. However, even so, the old man Ling Xiaoshin was particularly happy. Of course, he also understood that this amount of spiritual objects was obtained through Ling Pengyun's face. In addition, When he was attacking the golden core, he spent a lot of Ling Pengyun's wealth to buy golden core spiritual objects. For this reason, he did not take that batch of spiritual objects, but gave them all to Ling Pengyun. Ling Pengyun did not say much. With this amount of spiritual objects, his wealth could indeed be restored. After all, he spent a lot of money to buy various golden elixirs and spiritual objects for the two elderly people, Lingxiao and Yang Qiuyan. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1045 The Nascent Soul Spiritual Items the three families are willing to give. At the same time, as the Golden Pill banquet ended, tens of thousands of guests also dispersed like a tide in a short time. However, the fact that the only three major immortal gates and the three inferior Yin-Yang forces in the northern wilderness Xiuxin world all came to the Lingxiao Golden Pill banquet still spread throughout the entire northern wilderness Xiuxin world. For a while, the entire righteous world began to discuss whether the Ling family would be the next Yin-Yang force in the future, which made the Ling family stand out. It even attracted the attention of the demon forces and the monster forces. However, what surprised the entire righteous world the most was that not long after the Lingxiao Golden Pill banquet, the three major immortal gates all said that if there were any Yin-Yang monsters or demons who dared to touch the Ling family, they would take action. This kind of platform intention also raised the status of the Ling family to the top level in the northern wilderness Xiuxin world in a short period of time, surpassing all the Golden Pill forces and only below the three major immortal gates and the three inferior Yin-Yang forces. Perhaps it was also the platform of the three major immortal sects. Those demonic forces and demon clan forces that were spying on the Ling family also withdrew. At the same time, in the territory of the Wu Kingdom, the only superior immortal cultivation country in the northern wilderness immortal cultivation world. On the top of a mountain that could not be more ordinary, the three most prestigious people in the righteous way of the northern wilderness immortal cultivation world gathered. These three people are the masters of the three major immortal sects, the Heian Immortal Sect, the Fuyan Immortal Sect, and the Henyu Immortal Palace. Heian's Henjin and Fuyan's Henjin were sitting on a stone table playing chess. The beautiful and picturesque Henyu Palace master was like an iceberg, sitting cross-legged on the side and sitting quietly. How about we make a bet and see which side's Yin-Yang spiritual object will Ling Pengyun of the Ling family accept this time and become a subsidiary force of which force? The Heian's Henjin, who was wearing a blue Taoist robe and had bursts of rich elixir fragrance on his body, said to Fuyan's Henjin while playing chess. Master Fu Yun carried a scholarly air. He was holding a flag and was about to place it on the chessboard. He paused for a moment before placing it on the chessboard. He looked a little confident and said, "Okay, what do you bet on?" Master Heian saw Master Fu Yan agreed, his eyes lit up slightly, and he said with a smile, "How about betting on a 4th level spiritual talisman?" Master Fu Yun was a little hesitant when he heard this. Even though he was a 4th level talisman maker and the Fuyan Immortal Sect behind him was also good at making talismans, he didn't have many 4th level spiritual talismans in his hands. After all, it was extremely difficult to refine a 4th level spiritual talisman, and the spiritual materials required were also extremely rare. It was rare for him to refine it once. "Brother Heian, this bet is a bit too big." Master Fu Yun frowned and said. Master Heian did not give up, and said, "If I lose, I will offer 3 4th level low-grade cultivation elixirs, Qingshi pills, how about that?" Master Fu Yun was immediately moved when he heard this, and he agreed immediately. The 4th level green jade pill is a rare thing. If he can get it, it will be enough to save him decades of hard training. The value of 3 green jade pills is not much different from the price of a 4th level spiritual talisman, both of which are about 100,000 spiritual stones. The palace master of Henyu Fairy Palace, Henyu Henjin, who was sitting quietly on the side, slowly opened her eyes at this moment. She was also attracted by the 3 green jade pills proposed by Heian's Henjin, and she said, "I will also participate. If I lose, I will offer 2 4th level low-grade ice soul spirit fruits. However, if someone breaks the rules and uses extra Yin-Yang spirit objects to win over Ling Pengyun of the Ling family, don't blame me for being rude. Ice soul spirit fruit is also a spiritual object for cultivation, but its value is higher than the green jade pill of the same level of cultivation pills. The value of 2 ice soul spirit fruits is just the same as 3 green jade pills. Very good, very good. Heian's Henjin heard this and said with a smile. On the other side. Yam State. Ice and Snow Forest Territory, Ice and Snow Valley. On this day, 3 distinguished guests came. The people who came were the 3 Jindan perfection cultivators who had come to the Jindan ceremony of Ling Pengyun's father Lingxiao some time ago. They were Yuan Hua of Heian Immortal Sect, Fu Chen of Fuyan Immortal Sect, and Luo Zai of Hanyu Immortal Palace. These 3 people were precious, so Ling Pengyun personally welcomed them. As soon as they met, Ling Pengyun also asked with some expectation. Are you here for the matter of the 9 heavens mysterious key and the earth spirit? Yuan Hua, who was born in Heian Immortal Sect and worshipped under the master of this sect, Heian's Henjin, nodded and said with a smile. Yes, we specially went back to the sect this time and asked this Henjin of each sect. We also learned what kind of nascent soul spiritual objects our sects are willing to offer. After saying that, Yuan Hua turned his head and smiled at Fu Chen of Fuyan Immortal Sect and Luo Zai of Hanyu Immortal Palace. You two go first. Seeing this, Fu Chen of Fuyan Immortal Sect was a little strange, but he did not drag his feet and spoke directly. Our sect does not have the 9 heavens mysterious key and the earth soul essence, but we have a 4th level medium grade Xiangan condensing spirit talisman, which, like the 9 heavens mysterious key and the earth soul essence, can increase the probability of entering the nascent soul stage by 10%, which can be regarded as an ordinary nascent soul spiritual object. Luo Zai said lightly without a trace of emotion in his words. My palace can produce an earth soul essence. Although Ling Pengyun was tempted by the spiritual object Xiangan condensing spirit talisman produced by Fu Chen of Fuyan Immortal Sect, this item was not a must-have, but the earth soul essence was. For this reason, he also ignited a fire in his heart. Although he had arranged a large formation that could condense the earth soul essence in the Lingxiao Mountains where the clan was located, it would take a very long time, at least 600 or 700 years, and Ling Pengyun could not wait that long. However, Ling Pengyun did not rush to agree to become a subordinate force of the Hanyu Immortal Palace with the earth spirit, but instead looked at Yuan Hua, who was smiling and mysterious. At this time, Fu Chen and Luo Zai, who spoke first, also had a hunch that something was wrong when they saw Yuan Hua's look. Yuan Hua also said with a smile at this moment. Since both Taoist friends have said so, it's my turn to tell me about the nascent soul spiritual objects that my sect is willing to give out. My sect is willing to give out a portion of 9 heavens mysterious key. Ling Pengyun's heart was burning with passion, and he said without any hesitation. If I can enter the nascent soul in the future, I will definitely listen to the orders of the Heian Immortal Sect behind Taoist friend Yuan Hua. Although both the earth spirit and the 9 heavens mysterious key were what he desired, the 9 heavens mysterious key was more rare, so he naturally gave priority to the 9 heavens mysterious key, which was the most difficult to find. That's good, that's good. When you reach the golden core perfection in the future and are confident of reaching the nascent soul, and have gathered all the spirit stones, feel free to come to our sect to buy the 9 heavens mysterious key. At the same time, our sect has also prepared a large formation for you to resist the nascent soul tribulation thunder. Yuan Hua of Heian Immortal Sect said with a smile. Then, he bowed to Fu Chen of Fuyan Immortal Sect and Luo Zai of Hanyu Immortal Palace. My 2 fellow Taoists, thank you for letting me. Luo Zai, the female immortal of Hanyu Immortal Palace, suddenly felt unwilling. She came with a precious earth spirit this time, but she had the heavy responsibility of winning over Ling Pengyun. Although she did not know Ling Pengyun's cultivation level, she, like Yuan Hua, could not see through Ling Pengyun's exact cultivation level. From this incident, it was enough to see that Ling Pengyun's spiritual consciousness was not weak. Soon, I am afraid that he could also reach the golden core perfection. Chapter 1046, 5 Yuanying Seedlings from the Northern Wilderness Cultivation World. According to intelligence, Ling Pengyun is only 200 years old. Perhaps, Ling Pengyun can try to reach the nascent soul stage before she is 300 years old. This cultivation speed is extremely fast, several times faster than her early years. If she has enough financial resources, at this age, she can even try to reach the nascent soul stage twice in the future, which is considered a superior nascent soul seedling. Such seedlings are rare in the 3 major immortal gates nowadays. The Black Dragon Lake will appear again, and the entire northern wilderness immortal cultivation world is also short of nascent souls. The three major immortal gates are willing to support Ling Pengyun, which is also for their own benefit. The most important thing is that Hanyu Immortal Palace knows that there are other major forces in the immortal world behind the Ling family to support them. If Ling Pengyun reaches the nascent soul stage in the future, the forces behind him will definitely not sit idly by, and it is inevitable that they will get a nascent soul item for him. This increases the possibility of Ling Pengyun entering the nascent soul stage. Under various factors, this makes the three major immortal gates willing to sell a rare nascent soul spiritual object to support Ling Pengyun's entry into the nascent soul stage. As for the unreasonable support of the three major sects for Ling Pengyun, it was naturally because the cost was too high. Even for their own disciples, they were reluctant to spend 3 ordinary nascent soul spiritual objects to help them reach the nascent soul stage. Not to mention the price of the 3 ordinary nascent soul spiritual objects. The rarity of these things alone was enough to make the 3 major sects give up supporting Ling Pengyun at the same time. As the eldest disciple of the palace master of Hanyu Immortal Palace, Luo Zai also knew about this. Missing such a talent with a high probability of entering the nascent soul stage was indeed a loss for Hanyu Immortal Palace. At the same time, if Ling Pengyun entered the nascent soul stage, the strength of Heian Immortal Sect would be much stronger, and it would also have an impact on Hanyu Immortal Palace in the future. After thinking a lot, Luo Zai couldn't help but sigh. She also snorted coldly at Yuan Hua's Henrin of Heian Immortal Sect. Your sect is willing to give out such things. Fellow Taoist Ling, I will take my leave first. After saying that, she turned into a beam of light and flew away from the ice and snow valley. Wait for me, Luoxi. Fu Chen, the immortal master of the Fuyan Immortal Sect, was quite open-minded. He bowed to Ling Pengyun and Yuan Hua and chased after Luoxi. Yuan Hua looked at the backs of Fu Chen and Luoxi ferry leaving, smiled, and asked Ling Pengyun, Dao, I wonder if you can reveal your cultivation level? Not only do I want to know, my master also wants to know. Ling Pengyun's eyes trembled slightly when he heard this. Yuan Hua is the master of the Heian Immortal Sect, the Immortal Master Heian. In addition, the Immortal Master Heian had just promised to sell him a portion of the 9 Heavens mysterious key, so he did not refuse the face of Yuan Hua and the Immortal Master Heian behind him, and replied. The 8th level of the Golden Core. Yuan Hua heard this, but he showed a bit of as expected. Before, when he saw that it was difficult to detect Ling Pengyun's cultivation level, he guessed that Ling Pengyun's cultivation level was not low. He also smiled and said, the 8th level of the Golden Core is not far from the Golden Core perfection. Fellow Taoist, please cultivate as soon as possible. Our northern wilderness immortal cultivation realm is in need of nascent souls. Ling Pengyun heard this and nodded slightly, then asked curiously. I heard that fellow Taoist has been in Golden Core perfection for some time. I wonder when you plan to reach nascent soul. Yuan Hua's Henrin is only over 300 years old now. There are still many years before the deadline of 400 to reach nascent soul. He has a chance to reach nascent soul. In a few years, I am practicing a secret method. Yuan Hua did not hide it and said with a smile. Ling Pengyun heard this and his expression moved slightly. According to the previous guarantee of Heian Xianzong, this sect will sell itself a share of 9 Heavens mysterious key in the future. And under such circumstances, in recent years, Heian Xianzong has still had the spare energy to help Yuan Hua's Henrin reach nascent soul, which is extremely extraordinary. It also shows that this sect probably has a lot of nascent soul spiritual objects. This nascent soul's Xianzong with many people is really extraordinary. Ling Pengyun couldn't help but sigh inwardly. Then, he congratulated. A few years is just a blink of an eye for cultivators like us. I wish you in advance that you can ascend to the nascent soul avenue in the future. When you enter the Tao, please remember to let me know so that I can share your joy. Thank you for your good words. If I can really enter the nascent soul, I will come here in person to tell you about it. Yuan Hua's Henrin said with a smile. Then, the two chatted for a few more words. They also talked about the Fu Aian Xianzong's Fu Chen's Henrin and Luo Zai Ferry, who had just left. According to Yuan Hua's Henrin, Fu Chen's Henrin has liked Luo Zai Ferry for decades, but unfortunately, Luo Zai Ferry is determined to pursue the Tao and does not want to talk about children, so the two of them have never had a result. Although Luo Zai Ferry is the eldest disciple of the Hanyu Palace Master of Hanyu Palace, In fact, Luo Zai Fairy is not much different in age from Yuan Hua's Henren, but the Han Yu Palace Master, who has a cultivation level as high as the nascent soul realm, has higher requirements for accepting disciples and accepted disciples later. True man Fu Chen is not very old either, he is only over 300 years old, and he is also a nascent soul seedling of the Fu Chen immortal sect. The three of them are of the same generation, and they are also the most outstanding talents of each sect. The three of them have known each other for a long time, and that is why Yuan Hua knew about the matter between true man Fu Chen and fairy Luo Zai. As for the three major sects sending Yuan Hua and the other two to hand over the affairs to Ling Pengyun, it is also intended to let them get familiar with each other and walk around. After all, it is unnecessary to send a nascent soul directly to discuss the matter of winning over. The status and cultivation of the three people of Yuan Hua are just right to handle this matter. Moreover, according to what Yuan Hua said, it is estimated that Fu Chen and fairy Luo Zai will be supported by their respective forces to impact the nascent soul in a short time. Then, true man Yuan Hua and Ling Pengyun talked about Liu Haojin, a nascent soul seedling who has reached the perfection of the golden core in the current Xiangxing sect of the Ling family. Ling Pengyun was very familiar with Liu Haojin. After all, the two of them had some friendship and were good friends. Liu Haojin was also the only disciple of Xiangxing Zhenjin, the only Yuanying Zhenjin of the Xiangxing sect, a lower-level Yuanying force. According to Yuan Hua, some time ago, Heir and Xianzong also sold a Yuanying spiritual object to Xiangxing sect to assist the Yuanying seedling Liu Haojin in his Yuanying attack. He also estimated that Liu Haojin would try to attack the Yuanying soon. This incident also made Ling Pengyun say again that Heir and Xianzong had a strong foundation and Yuanying spiritual objects were sold casually. In addition, he also saw that Heir and Xianzong attached great importance to supporting its Yuanying and was afraid of the Black Dragon Lake coming to the world. As for the other two lower-level Yuanying forces in the northern wilderness Xiuxin world, the Maple Leaf Li family and the Lingbao Academy, according to Yuan Hua, there were currently no suitable Yuanying seedlings about to attack the Yuanying. If you count them all, in the entire northern wilderness Immortal Cultivation world, at present, there are only 5 nascent soul seedlings who are closest to impacting the nascent soul stage: Ling Pengyun himself, Yuan Hua of the Heian Immortal sect, Fu Chen of the Fuyan Immortal sect, Luo Zai of the Hanyu Immortal Palace, and Liu Haojin of the Xiangxing sect. These news are usually kept secret and rarely spread, but they have opened Ling Pengyun's eyes. Chapter 1047, 4 Golden Dragon Bloodlines enter the 4th level. After that, Ling Pengyun chatted with Yuan Hua for a few more words, and Yuan Hua said goodbye and left. Ling Pengyun also returned to the Ice and Snow Valley to continue to perfect the Jinden chapter of the Lingxiao 5 Elements treasure book. This technique is the most important. Once it is truly perfected to the late Jinden chapter, Ling Pengyun can switch to cultivation, and his strength will surely increase again. At the same time, he can use the 5 elements of the golden elixir in his body to convert his spiritual power into 5 elements of spiritual power that is beneficial to the impact of the nascent soul at a much faster speed. Therefore, Ling Pengyun currently regards the perfection of this technique as more important than cultivation. It is also worth mentioning that Ling Liming, the son of Ling Wangsa who first tried to practice the Lingxiao 5 Elements treasure book, successfully comprehended the foundation building chapter of this technique not long after he entered the foundation building stage 15 years ago, and has begun to practice. He also comprehended various life-defining techniques of this technique early on, and forged various life-defining magic weapons with the help of Ling Pengyun. After the power of those innate skills and magic weapons were displayed by Ling Liming, a cultivator who practiced Lingxiao 5 Elements treasures, they were indeed as powerful as Ling Pengyun expected. According to Ling Liming's cultivation level of the first level of foundation building at that time, with the help of these innate skills and magic weapons, he was fully capable of fighting against cultivators in the middle stage of foundation building. This also made Ling Liming very happy. After that, he also worked harder to practice. After 15 years, his cultivation level also reached the 2nd level of foundation building, and his progress was not slow. On the other side, the northern wilderness cultivation realm, Wu Kingdom. On the top of a certain barren mountain, Yuan Hua, Fu Chen, and Luo Zai Fairy, who had left the Ice and Snow Valley in the Ice and Snow Forest of Yan Kingdom before, all gathered here. Heian Zhenjin, Fu Yun Zhenjin, and the sitting Hanyu Palace Master, who were playing chess here, also learned about Ling Pengyun's choice from their disciples. Brother Fu Yun, Fairy Han Yu, I am willing to accept the loss. Don't forget to give me 3 4th level spiritual talismans and 2 ice soul spiritual fruits. Hai Yun's Henjin smiled and looked at Fu Yun's Henjin, who was playing chess with him, and Han Yu Palace Master, who was sitting quietly beside him. Fu Yun's Henjin and Han Yu Palace Master's faces turned black, but they were also trustworthy people, and immediately threw the things they lost to Hai Yun's Henjin. After Hai Yun's Henjin got those spiritual objects, his smile on his face became even more. Fu Yun's Henjin was also a little puzzled at this moment. 9 Heaven's mysterious key has come out, and it's not unfair to lose. But Brother Hai Yun, in order to win over Ling Pengyun, is it necessary to waste such a precious thing? 9 Heaven's mysterious key is a Yuanying spiritual object. In the present time, the 3 major immortal gates are difficult to be self-sufficient because they have no Yuanying late-stage strongmen. The only source is to rely on the big backers behind them. In addition, the use of 9 Heaven's mysterious key and earth essence at the same time can enhance the efficacy of the 2 items by several times, so this item is even more precious. It is extremely difficult for the 3 major immortal sects to get it from the big backers behind them. We will see the truth in the future. Heian's Henjin smiled and said lightly. Seeing Heian's Henjin's confident look that Ling Pengyun can enter the nascent soul, Zhenjin Fu Ain's eyebrows became more curious. He also thought of something and asked immediately. Brother Heian, do you know the power behind Ling Pengyun? As soon as this was said, the sitting Hanyu Palace Master also looked at Heian's Henjin. The 3 Yuanhou people were the same. According to the various means that Ling's family showed to the outside world, if there is really a big force behind Ling's family, it is at least a nascent soul force comparable to the 3 major immortal sects, or even stronger. Heian's Henjin's expression moved slightly, shook his head, and said with a smile. How can I know? Fu Ain's Henjin and Hanyu Palace Master heard the words, although they did not believe it, but did not ask more. Then, the 3 of them sent away their disciples Yuanhu and others. They talked about business. After more than 30 years, the monster rebellion is coming again. This time, I'm afraid it won't be as easy as the last monster rebellion. Have you discussed the support with the forces behind you? Asked Heian's Henjin. Of course. Our sect's superior force in this Hongzhouziuxin world, the Jinfu sect, has promised to send a Yuanying here to take charge. Fu Ain's Henjin said with a smile. Jinfu Xianzhuang is one of the old Yuanying forces in Hongzhouziuxin world. In terms of strength, even in this Hongzhouziuxin world with many Yuanying forces, it is enough to rank in the top 5. The Jihanxian Palace in the extreme North Xiuxin world will also send a Yuanying here to take charge. Hanyu Xiangong said coldly. Jihan Xiangong is the strongest Yuanying force in the extreme North Xiuxin world, with many Yuanying. It is also worth mentioning that this sect was one of the Black Hands that caused the destruction of the Ghost sect and the Ghost Immortal sect, which had some connection with the Ling family, tens of thousands of years ago. That's good. The force behind me has also agreed to send a nascent soul. With the arrival of these 3 nascent souls, we can be more stable next time we face the chaos of monsters. Heian's Henjin's face also showed a little more joy. 5 years later. Deep in the ice and snow valley. Brother Ling, I really like these 4 golden dragons with twin spirits. Are you really unwilling to give them up? If you can give in, I can give you 1 more golden elixir dragon on top of the previous conditions, making a total of 5 golden elixir dragons for you. The Dragon Abyss Dragon King in the White Shadow Secret Realm raised a claw, pointed at the 4 golden dragons beside him, all of which were full of dragon spirits, and asked Ling Pengyun. Brother Long Yuan, please don't joke with me. You and I both know how great the potential of these 4 golden dragons is. How could I let them go easily? Brother, you should spend more time on the earth-covering dragon earthworm that I entrusted to you back then, and the pseudo-earth-covering dragon earthworm. The former's bloodline strength reached the 5th level, and it has not yet reached the 4th level. The pseudo-earth-covering dragon earthworm has not yet truly transformed into a dragon. If it is delayed any longer, another 60 years will pass. Do you really not want to return to the Beiyang secret realm and plan to retire in my clan? Ling Pengyun said with a smile. Okay, I don't know how lucky you are, Brother Ling, to be able to find such a rare dragon with twin spirits. As for helping the batch of half-dragons you gave me to practice the top intermediate magical power of my clan, The 100 Treasures Dragon Mystic Art. I really tried my best, but it's too difficult to improve the purity of the dragon blood. Now, I can make the strength of the dragon blood of these 4 golden dragons reach the 4th level. I cut a lot of blood from my body to feed them, and then I help them enter. It's not easy for me. However, the remaining earth-covering dragon earthworm and the pseudo-earth-covering dragon earthworm are about to meet your original requirements, Brother Ling, within 10 years. Long Jiao Wen complained again and again. 10 years is not a long time. I am waiting for your good news, Brother Longyun. When Ling Pengyun heard this, his expression was also happy, and he said with a smile. More than 70 years ago, when the last monster rebellion had just ended, Ling Pengyun had used up the last opportunity to let the Dragon Abyss Jiao King take action, and asked it to help guide Ling Qiangxi's 4 golden Jias with twin spirits, his own earth-covering spirit earthworm, and his goddaughter Ling Pengyun's pseudo-earth-covering spirit earthworm to practice the 100 Treasures Dragon Mystery Art. This matter was also difficult for the Dragon Abyss Jiao King. Until today, Ling Qiangxi's 4 golden Jias with relatively good qualifications and twin spirits have only managed to improve the strength of the Jialong bloodline a little, from the 5th level to the 4th level. The remaining earth-covering dragon earthworm and the pseudo-earth-covering dragon earthworm are still working hard to practice the 100 Treasures Dragon Mystery Art. It was also through this incident that it learned that the 4 golden Jias had twin spirits. And because it took care of Ling's group of Jialongs, it missed an opportunity to open the White Shadow Secret Realm 20 or 30 years ago. It is also worth mentioning that the Flame Demon Wolf King, who had reached the Golden Core perfection and followed Ling Pengyun out of the Secret Realm with the Dragon Abyss Jiao King 100 years ago, is still in Ling Pengyun's hands. He was reluctant to miss this opportunity to exploit the Flame Demon Wolf King. However, Ling Pengyun did agree to send the Flame Demon Wolf King back as long as he helped the Ling family to set up 3 more 3rd-grade superior defense formations in the Ling family's clan land. The Flame Demon Wolf King had no choice but to agree. After all, only Ling Pengyun had the means to enter and exit the Silver Secret Realm. Now, it is working hard to set up the formation. Over the years, it has also used the family's 3rd-grade middle-grade formation master to migrate 1 or 2,000 1st and 2nd-grade spirit banes in the clan land, and set up 2 3rd-grade superior formations in the Ling family land. It is only 1 3rd-grade superior formation away, and it will be free. I know. I will return these 4 golden dragons to you. I will not stay any longer. I will go and see if the other earth-covering spirit earthworm and the pseudo-earth-covering dragon earthworm are lazy. Long Jiao agreed impatiently. Then, it left this place on its own and entered a huge cave in the ice and snow valley. Ling Pengyun's earth-covering dragon earthworm with perfect foundation building and Ling Pengyun's pseudo-earth-covering dragon earthworm were also there. Long ago, the Dragon Abyss Jiao King moved here. Chapter 1048 4 Dragons Fighting for the Golden Core. At this moment, Ling Pengyun looked at the 4 golden dragons in front of him whose blood strength had reached the 4th level. His eyes were full of brilliance. He also asked the 4 dragons, "Now that your dragon blood strength has also reached the 4th level, are you sure you can attack the golden elixir on your own?" The 4 golden dragons nodded without any hesitation, and looked confident. Seeing this, Ling Pengyun smiled, and put them into the storage bag on his waist, and sent them to the Treading Cloud Valley in the Treading Cloud Ridge of the Bayun Mountains, where the thunder-inducing overcoming evil array was arranged, and let them retreat on their own to attack the golden elixir. During this period, Ling Pengyun chatted with Ling Lihu, the genius beast master and valley master here, about the progress of perfecting the Thunder Wing Shadow Tiger mutation method. According to Ling Lihu, he was sure that within 100 years, the Thunder Wing Shadow Tiger method would be truly perfected to the middle-level quality. This method allows ordinary winged shadow tigers to have a 1% chance of mutation. If they fail, they will only suffer minor injuries and will recover in less than decades. The lifespan of the mutated Thunder Winged Shadow Tiger will also be increased to more than 300 years. Ling Pengyun was naturally happy about this. Every medium-level spiritual beast mutation method is enough to help a giant in force. Although the Ling family already has several spiritual beast mutation methods, they don't mind having one more. And this Thunder-Winged Shadow Tiger mutation method has gradually brought benefits to the Ling family. After so many years, Ling Lihu also used the gradually improved mutation method to create a force of more than 100 Thunder-Winged Shadow Tigers. Among them, there are as many as 5 foundation-building Thunder-Winged Shadow Tigers, and the rest are in the late stage of key training. With their combined strength, they are enough to kill multiple monsters of the same level with their strength far exceeding that of ordinary monsters. However, Ling Lihu, the Ling family's most talented cultivator in the art of beast control, has a somewhat unsuccessful path. More than 30 years ago, he had once attempted to reach the golden core, but unfortunately he failed and his meridians were damaged. He is currently recovering from his injuries. In view of the merits of the Thunder Wind Shadow Tiger mutation method he created, the family plans to give him another chance and will provide him with some golden core spiritual objects in the future. Ling Libing, a genius of the same generation as him, also encountered the same situation. He also tried to reach the golden core once, but unfortunately he failed. The two of them are also the only two old golden core seedlings who have not yet entered the golden core among Ling Wanchuan, Ling Wanchuo, Ling Wangsu, and Ling Wanlian. Afterwards, the two chatted for a while. Ling Pengyun saw that the four golden dragons who were in retreat in the Treading Cloud Valley to attack the golden core had not made any movement. He also had nothing to do, so he went to a place where the family ghost cultivator Ling Pengyun was stationed in the Treading Cloud Valley to raise ghosts. This time, he met Ling Pengyun. This is also one of the few times the two have met in the past 100 years. 5 years ago, Ling Pengyun's father Ling Xiaoshan entered the golden core after the ceremony. Ling Pengyun did go back to the clan, but he did not appear in the world at that time. After many years, Ling Pengyun's cultivation has not only been raised to the 5th level of the golden core, but he has also learned several superior ghost magic skills and a powerful top-level superior ghost magic skill. It is because of these magic skills that he has been in seclusion for a long time in recent years. During this period, he also cultivated 5 special spirit ghosts with cultivation as high as the middle stage of the golden core with the help of the ghost fairy lamp. With the help of these means, his strength has also been greatly improved. Ling Pengyun also practiced with him, and finally made an amazing discovery. That is, Ling Pengyun, with the help of several powerful superior and top-level ghost magic skills, and the help of the 5 special spirit ghosts, is not weaker than the strength of ordinary golden core 8th and 9th level cultivators. You know, Ling Pengyun's current cultivation is only the 5th level of the golden core. This also made Ling Pengyun change his view of the power of the superior magical powers. It's just a pity that the Ghost Immortal sect is a ghost sect, and most of the magical powers in this sect are ghost magical powers, which can only be practiced by ghost cultivators. Ling Pengyun obtained the essence of Yin and Yang Taichu in his early years, and his comprehension was greatly improved. He was sure that he could slowly change those superior ghost magical powers into righteous magical powers, but the time required was at least 100 years according to his estimate. At present, he is still perfecting the most important Lingxiao 5 Elements treasure book, so he has no time to change those ghost magical powers. But he will definitely take care of this matter in the future. After all, the power of the superior magical powers is too strong. Ling Pengyun is also a little jealous. It is difficult to get the righteous superior magical powers from the outside world. He now has the 2 strongest magical powers in his hands, and they are both top-level middle-level magical powers. One is the White Shadow Escape Technique of the White Shadow sect, and the other is the 5 Elements Pure Yang Mysterious Thunder of the Kanglan Bahe sect. The top middle-level magical power of the Jialong clan, 100 Treasures Dragon Mystic Art, is not included. Afterwards, Ling Pengyun and Ling Pengyun talked about the secret library hidden in this Hongzhaoziuxin world by the Ghost Immortal sect tens of thousands of years ago. According to the Tongshan Lingbao Ghost Immortal lamp in Ling Pengyun's hand, which originated from the Ghost Immortal sect's inheritance treasure, the mystery library was originally a secret realm, in which many ghost spiritual objects were stored. However, after the Ghost Immortal sect suffered a great disaster that year, the Ghost Immortal sect cultivators stationed in the mystery library exiled this secret realm into the void, and it required a 4th level formation to break it. Ling Pengyun mentioned this matter with the intention of plotting the ghost spiritual objects in the mystery library. According to him, the Ghost Immortal lamp that was seriously injured tens of thousands of years ago is in the critical period of recovery. If there are many 3rd level Zuanine ghost irons in the mystery library to help, the strength of the Ghost Immortal lamp will surely be able to quickly recover to the realm of the 4th level spiritual treasure, with the strength of the nascent soul. By then, the Ling family will have more confidence in dealing with the matter of the Black Dragon Lake. This matter is still a little urgent. Although the Kanglan Bahay sect has the formation to pull the secret realm back, I can borrow it with my master's face. But once the formation is used to pull the secret realm of the Ghost Immortal sect back to the Zeuxan world, it will inevitably involve cause and effect. At that time, the behemoths that destroyed the Ghost Immortal sect will come to find us, and we will be in trouble. As for the matter of Zuanine Ghost Iron, the family will find a way to get as much as possible. In recent years, the family has also opened a branch in Hongzhou. When the time comes, I will ask the branch there to help find this iron. It is said that the demonic forces in the Hongzhou Zeuxan world are not weak, and there are also many ghost forces among them. It is said that there are also a group of strong demonic forces in the Zeuxan world of the Supreme Buddha Kingdom. After a while, I will ask the family to send some people there to see if they can establish a branch there and take the opportunity to search for the third-level Zuanine Ghost Iron. Ling Pengyun frowned and said, over the years, the Ling family had used various means, including through the two branches in the Boundless Sea, to obtain a lot of third-level Zuanine Ghost Iron to refine the severely injured Ghost Fairy Lamp and help it recover from its injuries. Chapter 1049 Entrust Ling Penxing to do things. But the Ghost Fairy Lamp has a huge appetite, and its foundation is the Tongshan Lingbao, so the amount of Zuanine Ghost Iron required is also large. It can only be like this. Ling Penxing sighed helplessly after hearing this. You know, if you want to help the Ghost Fairy Lamp recover its nascent soul strength, you will need at least nearly 10,000 kilograms of third-level Zuanine Ghost Iron. The value of this batch of Ghost Iron is as high as 5 million. If so, the family will grit their teeth and sell some things to pay this amount of spiritual stones. After all, using 5 million spiritual stones to exchange for a nascent soul thug is a very profitable business. But the problem is that Zuanine Ghost Iron is extremely rare. It is a natural ghost spiritual iron, and the third-level one is even rarer. Ling's family has spent a lot of connections and efforts over the years, and only found nearly 1,000 kilograms of third-level Zuanine Ghost Iron. But now that things have come to this, Ling Penxing can't say more. Then, the two chatted about the 3 ghost-raising places in the Taiyan Valley. At present, these 3 ghost-raising sites have been transformed into quasi-third-level ghost sites after years of cultivation by the family. The ghost site where Ling Penxing has been cultivating for many years has even reached the third-level lower level. It has a third-level lower level ghost vein, plus 360 second-level ghost veins and 3,600 first-level ghost veins as sources, and a special large formation has been arranged, which is why it is successful. The ghost energy inside is rich. Every year, this place can use the rich ghost energy and the souls of monsters placed here by the Ling family as sources to breed 10,800 key training evil ghosts, cultivate a foundation building evil ghost in 10 years, and have a 30% chance of cultivating a golden elixir evil ghost in 300 years. The other 2 quasi-third-level ghost sites can also produce more than 3,000 evil ghosts every year. In the more than 100 years since the construction of these 3 ghost-raising sites, the family has also cultivated more than 500,000 low-level evil ghosts. At present, these evil ghosts are also stored in Ling Penxing's Tongshan Lingbao Ghost Fairy Lamp for future use. Otherwise, it would cost a lot to use ordinary magic tools and treasures to store ghosts. Although the Ghost Fairy Lamp was seriously injured 130,000 years ago and its strength was greatly reduced, this Tongshan Lingbao, which is specially used to cultivate ghosts, still retains the ability to store a large number of ghosts. Even if there are tens of millions of evil ghosts, it can accommodate them. However, due to strength problems, it cannot cultivate those ghosts at the same time, so those ghosts just stay in the Ghost Fairy Lamp like ghosts. However, after Ling Pengyun knew the number of ghosts produced by the 3 ghost-raising lands here, he was somewhat dissatisfied. He asked the family to build the ghost-raising land in 3 hidden places in the territory of the Treading Cloud Valley in order to arrange the 4th-level inferior ghost formation. Once this formation is arranged, the family members can learn the inheritance left by the White Shadow sect at will and enhance their strength. There is no need to control the number of people, so as to avoid the family being contaminated by the cause and effect of the White Shadow sect, thereby attracting the Yuaning Demon Clan, the Earth-splitting Bear Clan, which destroyed the White Shadow sect and this Hongzhou Zeuxan world tens of thousands of years ago. Once this can be achieved, the family will also be replaced, and the strength of countless clansmen will become stronger through the various powerful inheritances of the White Shadow sect, bringing help to Ling Pengyun. Build a few more ghost breeding grounds and try to speed up the cultivation of evil ghosts. Even if the Black Dragon Lake really appears in the future and my righteous path is in chaos, we can also throw these cultivated ghosts directly into the demon clan to kill those low-level ghosts, so that those ghosts can become our helpers. Ling Pengyun said to Ling Penxing calmly. This is indeed a way to increase the help, but it's a pity that there are not many golden elixirs among those ghosts, and there are very few foundation-building ghosts. If we kill the enemy in this way in the future, I'm afraid it will be difficult to hurt those golden elixir monster kings. When Ling Penxing heard this, his eyes lit up, and a bit of pity appeared on his face. Although, the cultivation of more than 500,000 ghosts stored in the Ghost Fairy Lamp is 99% only at the key training level, and they are not very smart, and the number of ghost cultivators of the Ling family is not enough to control the ghosts to defend against the enemy. But those ghosts also have the consciousness of attacking on their own, but after being released, they can't distinguish between friends and enemies, and can't distinguish between Ling's people and enemies. However, if they are thrown directly into the monster group, it will be another matter. After all, no matter how chaotic the monster group is, it is extremely large, and there are enough monsters in it. Before those ghosts kill all the monsters, there is no need to worry that those ghosts will devour their masters. It's good that those ghosts can help us kill some low-level monsters. As for the giant and demon king, we have to rely on the demon corpse. But speaking of this, it reminds me that the family has recently produced several giant and cultivators, and the more than 20 giant and demon corpses in the family are not enough. Brother Penxing, I need to perfect a self-created technique recently, and it is difficult to get away. Apart from me, you have the strongest breath-retaining ability in the family. I wonder if you can go to Kangmeng days more recently, kill some giant and demon kings, and bring their corpses back to refine into demon corpses. After hearing this, Ling Pengyun had an idea and spoke out. Ling Penxing has learned a superior ghost escape technique from the Huishan Ghost sect and the Ghost Immortal sect over the years, which is more effective than the White Shadow escape technique, the White Shadow escape technique of the White Shadow sect. In addition, Ling Penxing was a ghost cultivator, and his aura is extremely weak. With Ling Penxing's 5th level giant in cultivation, even Ling Pengyun would need time to use his spiritual sense to search for him. According to his estimation, as long as Ling Penxing did not take action during the period of performing the ghost escape technique, ordinary giant and 8th level and 9th level cultivators who did not master the superior pupil technique or the detection technique would not be able to find Ling Penxing. Okay, I just want to find some opponents to practice the ghost superior magical powers I have cultivated. Ling Penxing's current cultivation has not reached a bottleneck, but he has plenty of time in the normal cultivation process. In addition, the matter of refining the giant and demon corpse is beneficial to the family, and he has received a lot of favors from the family. He himself is a member of the family. Over the years, he has been unable to appear in the world due to his status as a ghost cultivator, and has rarely worked for the family. He felt a little aggrieved. Now, something has fallen on him, but he is a little happy. He immediately agreed to Ling Pengyun's arrangement. Thank you, Brother Penxing. Ling Pengyun said with a smile. As a member of the family, I have received the family's favor, so naturally I should work for the family. Ling Penxing said with a smile. The two chatted for a few more words, and Ling Pengyun said goodbye to Ling Penxing and returned to the Cloud Valley to prevent any accidents from happening to the 4 golden dragons who were in retreat in the Cloud Valley to impact the golden elixir. If something really happened, he could rescue them in time. Ling Penxing set off immediately. He first went to the family and asked for a piece of information about the monsters with golden elixir monster kings in the boundless vast marsh, and then sneaked to the boundless vast marsh. Chapter 1050, a vision of huge spiritual energy filling the body. Because his escape technique was a superior magical power and the speed was extremely fast, in just half a month, he crossed more than 10 million miles of territory and arrived at his destination. In front of him was a mountain range, where the vegetation was not lush and relatively dry. Some of the growing vegetation was also withered, and the surrounding temperature was higher than other places. This place was the territory of a giant and demon clan named Night Shadow Leopard, under the command of the Yuanying demon clan Golden Winged Tiger clan. According to the family information, this clan has a total of 3 giant and demon kings sitting in the middle of the strength. Strictly speaking, this Jinwen Tiger clan is actually an old rival of the Maple Leaf Li family, one of the 3 inferior Yuanying forces in the northern wilderness Xiuxian world, and is next to the territory of the Red Gold Bear clan in Yan State. Ling Pengyun came here because he was afraid that killing too many giant and demon kings under the command of the Red Gold Bear clan of the Yuanying Demon clan would attract the investigation of the Red Gold Bear clan. At this moment, Ling Pengyun also gradually went deep into the core of the Dark Knight Shadow Leopard clan and began to explore the movements of the 3 golden core realm Dark Knight Shadow Leopards of this clan. After searching for a whole month, he finally found a lone golden core realm Dark Knight Shadow Leopard. The lone demon king was leading a group of low-level demon beasts alone, sitting in a quasi-third-level spiritual vein. According to Ling Pengyun's investigation, the lone demon king was probably a rare demon king who was good at formations, but the level of formations was not high, probably only at the 2nd or 3rd level. However, even so, he could barely use the formation to improve the grade of the quasi-third-level spiritual vein. This demon king appeared on the quasi-third-level spiritual vein for this reason, instead of cultivating in the only 3rd-level spiritual vein of this clan. And in this quasi-third-level spiritual vein, there is also a 3rd-level lower-grade formation for protection, which is enough to show the importance of the Dark Knight Shadow Leopard clan to this place. However, this did not stop Ling Pengyun from hunting the golden elixir demon leopard in the spiritual vein. He saw that the quasi-third-level spiritual vein was far away from the other 3rd-level spiritual vein of the clan, nearly 100,000 miles away, so he took action directly and carefully arranged the 3rd-level superior shielding formation brought from the family around the spiritual vein. Once the formation was completed, he used his fingers to summon the ghost fairy lamp, but at this moment the ghost fairy lamp was dim, like a dead object, which was a sign that the spirit of the lamp was in seclusion. But this would not prevent Ling Pengyun from using this object to fight the enemy. He entered a ghost formula into it, and 5 demon beast-like ghosts suddenly sprang out of it. And these 5 ghosts were different from ordinary ghosts in their attack methods. They were actually good at the 5-element ghost arts, and they frequently stood in the distance and performed powerful 3rd-level 5-element ghost arts. Even if the only giant and demon leopard stationed in the quasi-third-level spiritual vein found something wrong and called out the 3rd-level lower-grade vein protection formation in time, the magic spells cast by the 5 spirit ghosts still made the vein protection formation of the quasi-third-level spiritual vein shake. I'm afraid that ordinary giant and late-stage cultivators are not the opponents of these 5 special ghosts. And these 5 ghosts are the natal spirit ghosts that Ling Pengyun has spent countless efforts to cultivate using the top-notch method of cultivating evil ghosts, the 5 elements ghost cultivation technique of the Ghost Immortal sect. The evil ghosts cultivated using this method will be particularly good at the 5 elements magic. Each evil ghost is good at using a magic, and their strength is very good, which is equivalent to a magic cultivator. The 5 ghosts work together, and even those powerful sword cultivators of the same level are no match. And this is not Ling Pengyun's strongest means. He looked moved, and a black iron sword flew out from his dantian. He held it tightly in his hand, and with a light chop, a long sword blade that gathered countless sword intentions was born, and turned into a black shadow. In an instant, it crossed thousands of miles and bombarded the meridian protection formation. There was a crisp roar, and a small crack appeared where the formation was bombarded. The power is good, but it consumes a lot of ghost power. Ling Pengyun was particularly satisfied with this, but his figure became illusory because of the previous attack. The previous attack was a superior magical power he mastered, Breaking Gang Ghost Shadow Sword Blade. This move requires a flying sword to activate. Although this attack does not look big, it is the best at breaking gang. The only disadvantage is that like ordinary superior magical powers, it consumes more ghost power when used. The ghost power in Ling Pengyun's body was completely drained by the attack just now, but even so, he was unable to fully exert the power of this attack. According to his estimation, he needed to reach at least the 8th or 9th level of the golden core before he could use the real ghost shadow sword blade. The black sword in his hand was his life attack ghost treasure, named Ghost Fairy Sword, a top-notch ghost treasure, derived from the Ghost Fairy Sex Clan Transformation Technique Ghost Fairy Treasure Book. As a ghost cultivator, Ling Pengyun practiced this technique. This technique is extremely perfect, and the ghost power cultivated through this technique is extremely strong. If not, I am afraid that he would need to reach the golden core perfection in the future, and it would be difficult to exert the real superior supernatural power. Then, because Ling Pengyun's ghost power was almost consumed, he stopped and turned to control the 5 5-element ghosts to attack the vein protection formation. In just a few days, The 5 ghosts relied on the crack that Ling Pengyun had created before to break the formation, thus killing the Golden Core Realm Night Shadow Leopard, and the rest of the low-level monsters in the mountain were also killed. He also looted all the spiritual objects in the mountain. If he was not a formation master, he would have wanted to move away from the spiritual vein here. Then, because the life and death of the Golden Core Demon Leopard here might attract the other 2 Golden Core Demon Kings of the Night Shadow Leopard, he directly left this place and turned to look for the next single Golden Core Demon Beast as his target. The demon tribes with multiple Golden Core Demon Kings sitting in the territory are more difficult to capture, and it takes a long time and is more risky. Although Ling Pengyun is decisive in killing, he is not stupid and will not do such a dangerous thing. In a blink of an eye, 2 months have passed. Banished Mountains, deep in the territory of Treading Cloud Valley. Treading Cloud Valley. It was noon that day. 4 huge fluctuations suddenly came out of the valley at the same time, attracting the spiritual energy of more than 100,000 miles around the Treading Cloud Valley. This range can be said to span half of the Treading Cloud Valley, which is only more than 200,000 miles. Countless spiritual energy also swarmed into the Treading Cloud Valley, making the Treading Cloud Valley, which was already rich in spiritual energy, become like a fairyland, with countless clouds transformed by spiritual energy. Ling Pengyun had only seen this scene in the Qingshi Mountain in the Qingshi secret realm, which had a 4th-level spiritual vein. This incident also shocked him. The 4 golden dragons, due to the effect of the twin spirits advancing and retreating together, condensed a solidified spiritual power at the same time, and attracted such a spiritual energy filing phenomenon, which is too big. During the period when ordinary cultivators are impacting the golden elixir, the spiritual energy filing phenomenon they attract is at most tens of thousands or tens of thousands of miles of spiritual energy, which is not so huge. When cultivators impact the nascent soul, the spiritual energy filing phenomenon they attract is larger, but that is also because of the different realms of impact. This also made Ling Pengyun feel a little bit of anticipation. I wonder if the 4 golden dragons can improve the quality of the golden elixir if they successfully condense the golden elixir under such circumstances. Ling Pengyun was somewhat confident that the 4 golden dragons could successfully enter the golden elixir. The dragon blood of the 4 golden dragons was extremely strong. In terms of the strength of the dragon blood, the dragons were all 4th grade dragons, which was enough to increase the probability of entering the golden elixir realm by 10%. They also learned the 2 secret techniques of the Ling family that helped spirit beasts to temper their consciousness and meridians. They had already cultivated the consciousness and meridians of the golden elixir realm in advance, and they could also increase the probability of entering the golden elixir by 10%. The twin spirit bodies, although inferior spirit bodies, could also increase the probability of entering the golden elixir by half. Under various factors, the probability of the 4 golden dragons alone to impact the golden elixir had reached 25%. This success probability is not low. Many Ling family giant and cultivators did not have such a high success probability when they were still building their foundation and carrying a large number of giant and spiritual objects to impact the giant. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.